strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
Episode 5. I know which side my bread is jammed on.
Mine too.
I know. I like that. Sitting here with Greg and Jamie Ellis of multiple businesses, and we're going to get into all of them if you'll allow me. So we've got Nash Plumbing and Electrical. Mechanical. You're allowed to correct me. That's okay.
It's okay.
Plumbing and Mechanical. Huge corporation. And you've been with them
June will be 27 years.
27 years. So I would never ask your 26-year-old wife how old she is. But you, what do I care?
He's
So
older.
So you started when you were...
Actually, the 26 plus doesn't even count for the summers in high school. So that was, I started
The plumbing side?
I was the guy that was running around in the summers doing whatever. So it's
So
third generation. So I've worked for the grandfather, the father, and the son. That almost sounds like a
Holy Spirit.
Father,
Yeah.
Son,
That's
and the
missing
Holy Ghost.
that's awesome. Mentor there? Who's your number one?
You know, my mentor through the business, he was my boss for 15 plus years. A guy named Dave Mears taught me a lot about the business. He was, he was a tough guy to work for.
Mm.
You know, you had to know him. You had to he wasn't.
Your first interaction with him?
Scary.
There was a few over the years. There was a few that some was deserved and some weren't.
But I mean, like, the hazing, because I ran up and down the stairs, 4 flights for a board stretcher. I was in electrical. So it was, shut up, Dave. So it was a pipe stretcher. And I ran I'll never forget. It was the Duval County School Board. And I ran to Carlos. Fuck you, Carlos. I ran to Carlos. And he said, go see Mikey up on, level 3. And I'm like, and I'm running level 3. Oh, yeah, no, I think you might want to see George down on. And they ran me all over that place.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, for now it was.
Left-handed pipe wrenches.
Left-handed
hammer.
Left-handed hammer. I forget what we use in one of our industries here, but I forget how we have fun with them.
The
But
restaurants, we used to tell them to clean out the coffee pot, but it was automatic fill, so it would just keep running.
that's good. How long did you let them go?
15, 20 minutes.
Okay. You're cool. Would you let them go? I don't even have to ask you.
Half a day,
Sorry.
at least.
Half a day.
Yeah, don't lie.
Because, construction, we have fun. I did it for...
It is. It's...
You got to.
I mean, it's a brotherhood, right? There's, those guys, not me as much anymore, thank God.
But you have a lot of
there's
people
a lot
under
of
you.
Sweat, blood, and tears. Yeah, we have 300 employees.
So it's almost like, you've got to have the right people underneath you because you can't be in all places all times. I've always said, if it's what these two hands can do, then I'm not good.
We're very, very blessed to have really good people.
Yeah.
All the way up and down the food chain. We went through an acquisition. Like I say, the father bought the grandfather out.
Right.
And then when it come time for the father, Cliff, to get out, he was a healthy guy. Never spent a day in the hospital. And
were you nervous? Because you're not family.
No, I went through the whole, Jamie will tell you, I went through the whole phases, right, of first being, because we had...
Shocked.
Well, the situation was, Cliff, healthy, started having a lot of stress-related illnesses, and his doctor said, you got 2 choices. Deal with your stress,
no,
or you'll be in a body bag. Which one do you want? And so as we are very, as the leadership team, we couldn't or wouldn't take a note. I mean, Cliff had built such equity in this business that there was no way in hell I was going into debt, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and neither was anybody else on the leadership team to sign a note. So
Were
we're
y'all
thankful.
let me get an idea how big you were back then. So were y'all just southeast? Were you
we were mostly state of Florida.
give an idea of some of the things you did back then? Don't talk about now yet, so that way they can see the growth.
I mean, I can remember when I started in '98, my first project, and I didn't know the difference between cast iron and copper.
So you
okay?
mean whoa. So there's a chance for me?
Yes, there is a chance. There's a chance.
That's what I'm talking about, kid. All right.
But it was a 60-room Hampton Inn hotel,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh my God, this is huge.
That sounds like
it's a
huge.
huge project. And to go through this, the years to see, like, one of the biggest projects was Fort Benning is really when the recession hit. I'd like to say that we're all these smart, wonderful business people. We just
Right.
got stupid lucky. Just call it what it is.
You had the right secretary.
There's a lot of truth. Would you distributors, which I did not own, but there's a lot of truth in some of the ladies that were in there, and then some of the cuckoos that should have never been in there. We'll get into
Well, I
that.
was the only lady in there, so.
Oh, so you're talking about you?
Oh
But
yeah. So
Wait a minute. So you work? Okay, hang on a second. Back the train up, kid. Hang on. We're just running through his Nash life. So Mama was there. How long were
She
you?
wasn't mama at the time.
Okay, now we're getting it. It's on here. The things you think I just jot. Go ahead.
No, so we, the recession.
98.
So 98, all the way through, we did some bigger projects as we grew, and
What about the 60 Hampton? The 60s.
that was in 98, and
So you knocked it out of the park.
yeah, I mean, I like to say I was just a helper. I was digging ditches.
Oh,
I was
okay.
on the business end of the show.
Okay.
It's where I started, and then progressed through as I mean, in the field was a helper, a plumber, pipe fitter,
Yeah.
all the superintendent.
That's called the grind.
Just grinded my way, and
Yeah.
and I worked full time. Went to college at night, weekends.
That was me.
Worked during the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have kids yet? No. Wait.
Mm-mm.
She's not Mama yet. Okay.
No. So, worked through, moved to Jacksonville, and, the recession. So, Cliff.
When
said-
did it hit y'all?
So it didn't. That was, I say it didn't. We got stupid lucky because
Very lucky.
we went and.
I'm very irritated right now.
well,
It
and that's what's
destroyed
saying.
our corporation.
It
Go
was, I'd love to say that.
Yeah.
But there's a big project at Fort Benning, Georgia,
So that carried you through.
that it was the biggest and this would have either made the company or put Cliff out of business. That was it.
Woo.
So it was
that moment. Hang on. That moment where it's all in.
all in for him.
There's no back. It's that point of 50%. There's no point of no return.
So we went up, and when I say we, there was a boatload of us that dropped what we were doing. We moved up to Fort Benning. Cliff's son, Ryan, which is now our president, he was there. My mentor in the business, Dave, his son was up there. I was up there running the whole circus show. And man, we really, all of us, we knocked the thing out of the park. I mean, really just killed it. And that really put us on a growth spurt. So we were.
Is it
Probably,
like a small? Is it like a small? Like my son plays baseball. Is it like a small circuit? Although it's a
It
lot of
is.
big
It's a
companies.
small core group. I would
It is.
say.
It is. I mean, we run into all the same players all over the country.
Right.
She says all the time, I've run into them when we've been in vacation out in Vegas, or she's like, "Can you go anywhere without knowing somebody?" I'm like, sorry,
But you have mentioned about the way you treat competitors.
good competitors.
Good competitors.
Yes, we have, there's good, it's like any business, right? You have
Yep.
good competitors. You have nasty competitors. We don't,
Do you fight the nasty competitors?
why? It's not going to make any
See,
difference.
Jamie, I'm with you. Because I want more of that. I need a little bit more of that. And he may need a little bit more of that.
Well,
And
but
that's the beauty.
it is. It's, who your friends are
Yeah.
and who aren't your friends.
Yeah.
And there will come a time when those people that are not your friends are going to need your help. And to me, that's the satisfaction I get.
Patience.
Patience.
Patience,
is
Jamie.
hard.
Patience.
Patience is hard.
It is hard. You never, ever, ever, ever pray for patience.
No.
Because one thing you don't pray for.
Yeah, because you'll get
You'll
what
it.
you
You'll get what you ask for.
Yeah, you'll get the exercises to get you there.
Yeah.
So we have competitors that who the good
Yeah.
guys are. And when we lose a bid to WWGA, hey, you know what? They're a great
yeah.
company.
Yep.
They
You mean
I don't mind getting.
Well,
getting-
you mean there's room for everybody?
absolutely. There's
Absolutely.
room
Okay.
for
I was just curious.
there's room for all people that are doing good, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a difference. And the reason you have bad competitors is because they're greedy.
Do you have some in that industry? And I'm not trying to like start nickel and dime, so don't give it anything away, but it's a pretty big industry. Do you have those in the industry that do well and though they're not really at your level and Jamie's like,
Yeah. and you hear it.
yeah.
And they get business because the bottom dollar,
Yeah.
right? And we try to distance ourselves from
Yeah.
the contractors that deal with, price alone.
So where is your price point? Are you mid-range, upper?
We're upper. We're not the cheap guy on the street.
But you're known for that anyway.
But we're a design build, give us a bar napkin sketch of a 500,000 square foot building on a bar napkin and we'll design it, take it off, give you a budget, stick to the budget.
Where did something,
Anywhere from 50, 60, 70, $80 million contracts.
Because how much was Fort Benning? Because it was two.
At that time,
we had 2 job sites there.
yeah, we had 2 full job sites. And at the time, that job in 2008 was so big that we couldn't bond it. So we had to get creative.
It was
so
in
you
2
mean
different counties.
you were totally exposed.
Well, and the contractor actually partnered, and we cut out some of the big equipment, and they bought the equipment instead of putting it under
Okay,
our
I got you.
contract. So we got creative,
Okay.
but you have to have partners, right, that trust.
So how did you learn that depth of? I mean, because you're playing big boy ball now.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I
we
would have no
deal
clue.
with some of the biggest contractors, and I mean Turner Construction.
Okay, so you started in Nash, and I am backing up just a little bit. You started in Nash, you were grinding it out. You worked in the middle management of some sort on the grinding, and had some people working for you. And how did you get to? Did you get a contractor's license? Did you?
No, I mean I have.
Because you were going to school, right?
Yeah, I mean sure, but also, I guess potential, right? The first one there every morning, the last one to leave.
How many people did he
Except
have
when you
working for
went
him
to
at that
play golf.
time?
Who's that, Cliff?
Yeah.
We were probably 100.
All right, so you got to stand out. That's a crew,
Mhm.
and you're green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and it was
How long?
6 years
All right.
till I was in a management role, actually making decisions that mattered.
Did you get your plumber's license before that, or?
No,
Okay.
actually, I got them 2013.
I can't keep up. You have too many
We
states,
started-
I
so
know we're gonna get to that too.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We started, being in that business, you always get these phone calls. My grandmother's mother's son's brother, air conditions broke. Could you help? And I would go do that on the side and, enjoyed it. I'm a people person. I like,
Thermostat isn't working and it's only blowing hot air.
And there's clear.
Yeah, there's clear wires.
That was
it
me
throws
recently.
you off so bad with those clear wires. I just don't get it.
Time
You
out.
read the instructions,
Dave,
you know.
yes.
But,
It- It's a common wire, okay? I did electrical. I just didn't do. I did.
but was the wire clear?
No, ma'am, it was not clear.
That's all I needed to know.
But I was just thinking it came from India or China. Maybe they don't
Oh
know
my
the
gosh.
colors.
The color is clear, George.
Yes.
Do
So,
you know what
anyways,
clear is?
so you still do that. So you started off running around doing.
Yeah, so the turning point, right, that took me from not just Nash, but ultimately what become J&G, which I didn't even win that fucking argument, right? Right? I'll give you two guesses what the J stands for, and it's not Greg. So I couldn't even win that argument. But so I was getting to where I was doing so much side work that they'll put you in jail. That's the state of Florida doesn't play with contractors,
No.
and nor should they. There's some really shitty people in this world, and I'm thankful we live in a state that takes it that serious. And so, I told Jamie, I said, look, I got to get my license. And so I think Georgia was my first state, went in weekend. She'd bring the kids up. I had to go through the whole school.
That was Macon.
Yeah, it was in Macon.
Macon, yeah.
For 4 or 5 weeks, every Saturday and Sunday. And
Your plumbing license.
my plumbing license in Georgia, and then I got my mechanical license in Florida. We LLC J&G in 13, I think, is when we officially, filed the LLC. But what was the turning point was I showed up to this old lady's house, and I say old, she was in her 90s, and you could tell she was on a fixed income. You could just tell the lady didn't have a ton of expendable income, right? And one of the worst things as a service tech is listening to the customer, because they'll tell you what's wrong and get you off in the wrong direction. So she's telling me, I've got to have a new unit, and I want a price for a new unit, and I'm messing around out there and kept smelling how you can smell something and you're like, what the hell is that smell? And you can't, it's on the tip of your tongue, but you can't.
know what
But
it
you
is.
know what
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And I'm out there and I'm checking, and the contactor, I've got
Well,
voltage.
she said oil was leaking.
Well,
too.
she said I need a new unit. They said I've got an oil leak, and which, sure, there's oil in the compressor, but it's not like you change it like your oil in the car. So I'm out there messing around. Well, they had cut the wire as it goes into the bottom of the contactor, so it was making enough contact to read voltage. But when you kicked on, it wasn't any wire there to run any amperage through, so the damn compressor wouldn't run. Not only that, the bottom of the condensing unit was oily, and there's a distinct smell to refrigerant oil, and it didn't smell like that. So I'm like, what the hell is it smell? Went to the truck, and then I don't believe in coincidences. It was the good Lord saying, hey, dummy, I'm going to help you out here. He looks after the, how he goes after leaves the 99 for the one. Well, I'm the one most of the time, hand raised.
Yeah.
There was a can of WD-40 laying right there. And I'm like, let's see what this smells like. Bingo. That's what the prior guy had sprayed in the bottom of this condensing unit. Told this poor lady that she had an oil leak and unit wouldn't run. She needed a new unit.
He was trying to get her to buy a new
Get it
unit.
I
in.
can't stand it. It drives me nuts.
Drives her crazy. So I went out there, remade up the wires, put them back in, tightened it up, fired the unit up, tested it, checked it out. Everything's golden. Perfect.
Saved her a ton of money.
So how much can I pay? I'm like, I just didn't feel right. I'd be horrible at owning my own business, because I just at Nash I can be the hard ass, the guy that gets it done, but when it's me, one-on-one with a customer, knowing that they don't have expendable income, these big corporations have the money. These big hospitals.
I think we lose business with J&G because people think we're too cheap.
They do. I've lost.
You can devalue your product with too low of a price.
But
Absolutely.
we're not going out to screw people, and the people that truly know us, which is a good bit of people now that they know, because we don't advertise.
And there was a time, right, that my aspiration and dream was that, my name is not Nash, right? My name is J&G,
right?
And there was a time that that was my dream, is I want to be my own. Well, I could have never been my own
No,
boss.
because it's
But
J&G. Right. Exactly.
she owns 51%, by the way.
Yeah,
So,
it's okay. Mine's got 53. So, yeah.
well, don't tell her she'll want to redo the whole
Yeah,
thing.
maybe we need to rethink that.
They talk. Trust me.
But there was a time that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But with kids, and I know we'll get into kind of,
Yeah.
with Avery and his medical needs and,
Insurance.
just my belief and my firm, roots of being the provider. I couldn't jump off of that ledge. I just didn't have the balls. I not only that, but Nash has always treated me and my family and have taken care of me for, now 27 years. I couldn't walk away from that, and I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need my name on the sign.
Yeah.
I'm good. I know.
And it allows y'all to do a lot. And it allows y'all to do. So, I mean, you have multiple streams of income. Was that purposeful? Or was it just what you said? I was heading towards owning my own business, and now you've got just a clientele and a reputation.
So that's where J&G kind of was born, was just out of the, hey, man, I'm getting more and more side work. Let me go do this thing legally, right? Before I get busted and caught.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, and then as that, she and I would talk, and God, wouldn't it be nice for us to be, own business? And I could have grown. Listen, I tell her all the time, there was a time I'd walk in the door and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to go work at Home Depot. I don't give a shit.
I have been there.
And you know what she says? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in 6 months, you'd be the store manager.
Yeah, exactly.
And then another 6 months, you'd be the district manager.
Right.
And then before you know it, you'd have to move to friggin' Atlanta because you'd be, vice president of some division, and you'd be just as stressful. So I don't have that off switch.
Yeah.
Once I'm in it, I don't care what we're doing.
Were you that way as a young man?
Always. The guys will tell you the worst thing that the guys used to, and I don't get to do it as much as I would like now. The worst thing the guys used to hate is to see me come out there with my tool belt on, because we weren't stopping until we were done. There wasn't a lunch, there wasn't a break. There was go chill out for a minute, but damn it, we're gonna get done.
So who carried that with you? I mean, before Nash, in your youth?
I mean, my dad was always.
Was he a go-getter?
Oh yeah, he worked
Sun up, sundown.
sun up, sundown. Out of town, whatever he had to do to.
What
provide.
did he do? Do you mind me asking?
Yeah, well, in the early years, he was a contractor telephone, and then he went to work for.
Wasn't it Bell South? Was it?
It was United.
Yeah, I
Telephone.
remember.
That
Before
was
they
then
all did
Sprint,
the.
that was then CenturyLink. That was then, and he worked to provide for us. I've got a brother and sister, and that's what he did. And somehow managed to be at all the baseball and football games.
Isn't that crazy?
And that was the way life was, and you didn't really give it much thought.
Was he authoritarian?
No. I'd said many times I'd rather my dad whoop my ass than my mom any day. Mom just beat you till she got tired. Dad beat you till he thought you got the point. Mom beat you, and she didn't have good aim. You'd be busted from your neck to your knees.
And we had short shorts in the 80s, man. That belt would wrap around, leave little blood welts, man. You're going down to school.
Hey, you know what? And most of the time, I deserved it.
100. It was. I got away with more than I got, so we're good.
So I mean, yes. So Marion and meeting Jamie, marrying Jamie, she outworked me.
She's at Nash.
So so kind of back to Fort Benning, that big job. We show up in town, and she was working for Clark Cadell, which was the contractor that we were working for. But she was on another project.
Hang on a second. How did you get into construction?
It was a temporary thing, like one of those temp job things. But my whole family's blue collar, and it kind of just happened.
It's where you wanted to go.
And it just.
Well, that's where God wanted her, because she hadn't been there long. So we come to town.
Well, y'all all talking. When a cutie comes in, it don't take long. I work construction to run the gamut.
Oh, yeah.
Because the truckers, they carry the message.
And it worked because She handled all the guys' time. They'd never,
Right.
they had every excuse in the world to come to the damn
Absolutely.
office to come talk to Jaime, right?
Jaime. Hey, Jaime.
Jaime. They all of a sudden started speaking really good fucking English at that point. Funny how that
They
happens.
showered every day. They washed their feet.
So,
But I made everyone breakfast too. Every
oh yeah,
morning.
she was
I mean,
the
it was ridiculous.
she was the team mom. Let's just be honest,
Yeah.
right? She
Which
made,
is what a lot of women are in.
she's a nurturer.
Yeah.
That she is a true.
Those
mother.
ladies that sit at the front counters that deal with the major corporations and answer the front line that answers the calls, they set the tone for when they get. I'm gonna keep hitting that damn thing. They set the tone for before they get to you. I mean, you're getting somebody who's wanting to do a job. They represent you because WWK got a way they do it, and y'all all have a system to it. So
Until you get in a fight with one or the other.
Yeah, I used to be.
He was a hot.
I used to
God,
be.
it was bad.
My
Well, it
temper
is
was about
construction.
that long.
yeah, was
But-
it competitive temper or was it just temper?
Just temper. Just always made the excuse. I'm just passionate about my
Were
work.
you middle
Bull
kid?
crap.
No, I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
It was just I've always been that way though. Of just I want what I want, and I'm gonna go get it, and don't stand in my friggin' way.
How many years? Because I love childhood. It's always curious to me. How many years is your middle brother or
So
sister?
I'm 3 years older than him, and,
Okay, so that's not it.
and he's
okay.
3 years older than my
He's just
sister.
stubborn.
Did you have to? Yeah, welcome to us middle kids. Did you have to raise them as well? I mean, was mom and dad? Okay, mom would stay at home.
No, she was a school teacher in a small town, so you can imagine how much shit
Oh
I got
my
away with.
gosh, man. Yeah.
It's a good thing there wasn't phones or trackers.
Oh yeah, it didn't matter. The
It-
word always got back around to school. You know,
Yeah.
like what party you were the weekend before, and then it was.
She knew everything you did before you got home that day.
Well, I was like, I thought you said you were here. Well, I was. Well, so and so said you were.
Mama's, man, listen, it was a village back then. They would raise
Oh, yeah?
it.
Oh yeah.
I miss that.
So I was looking for an admin, to help with time, to help with applications. I mean, it was a big job. We were hiring a lot of people, and so the contractor says, "Hey, I've got this girl that does a really nice job. She works hard. She shows up every day." Of course, that's what she looked like.
I mean,
So
What to have on? I mean, you could even remember
So
that. That's
I
the
can. I
crazy-
can tell you exactly what she had on the day she walked in my office. Little yellow and black dress on a
Tell me
freaking
about it.
commercial construction project. She knew what
That
the hell
one's
she was
stupid.
doing. She was
hubba,
stupid.
hubba.
So I hired her, and I,
For her
Fan-
skill set or her cuteness?
yes,
Exactly.
Mama didn't raise no fool.
No.
Absolutely not.
Listen, if you can get both,
Makes
there's
it a little bit
nothing wrong
easier to
with
go to
that.
work.
Absolutely.
It was the personality, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
Well, and then when she started bringing breakfast, it's like, shit, I can't get rid of her
And
now.
she can cook.
So she did. She came on. We were both going through divorces,
Yeah.
and
Any
know.
kids out of the first marriage?
yeah.
Okay.
so when we started talking about getting married, it was
Yep.
it was our firm belief. I always wanted to be the provider.
Yeah.
Always, and I've always told her selfishly, I don't want to come home after a hard day's work and hear, I work too. Yeah, I need help around the house. As selfishly as that sounds, I mean, this is raw, right? This is the
Yep.
And
grind,
that came
and
right back around. to
Yeah.
now.
And we'll find out how that. We're going to find out how that works for him.
Yeah.
Because I
Yep.
mean, but
and she did. 100%. She wanted to be the mother housewife that, when we first got married, she would literally put my towel in the dryer and heat it up
not while you're in the shower.
while I was in the shower.
No, stop it.
So when I got out, I had a hot
I'm gonna
towel.
make a note of that damn thing right there, son.
Don't
Now, I
Marie?
said when we
Right.
first got married.
When? Okay.
When?
Damn it.
She
Now it's
used
a cold
to.
tile floor.
Yeah. Now it's like, would you just not wake me up in the damn morning? So, yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
No, but she raised the 3 boys.
Yeah.
We've got, and when we got married, it was a discussion that we had of,
We did too.
There is no steps,
Yeah.
right? Like,
We always say there's no steps except the steps are our porch.
yep, that's
There
right.
it is.
I'm accepting. If I'm going to accept you, I have to accept everything else that is you,
Yeah.
right? And the same goes for her. And we both had questionable insanity, sane exes, and unfortunately, she took the brunt of a lot of it because I'm just a stupid ass man that,
Couldn't
Dumped
deal
it.
with it.
you know, I didn't want to deal with it. Wasn't going to, and she did. So why not? You know. And,
How many years did they go on?
Oh shit! I mean,
15?
yeah, 15.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And
Either one of y'all go to jail yet?
she probably should have, but we won't get into that.
No. No.
But you know, I say that to say that that's a freaking grind
yeah.
for her to have, you know, done that.
So you meet her. How long in the national organization prior to you asking her out? You
2 hours?
I was gonna say
No.
you construction boys work quick. Couple days of donuts and you're good to go.
No, it was probably 9 months,
Okay.
and I think it ended up kind of
We all both going through divorces too. So
we
you, I
were,
mean,
and it happened on a golf course. We were in a charity golf tournament, and you know what boys in golf does, Dave, right?
Absolutely,
No
yep.
alcohol involved at all.
right.
I think one of us rolled down. You know, it's hilly in Georgia. So some of the golf courses have, you know,
Rolled the golf cart?
I think we rolled out of the golf cart down the hill, and she was there to pick up the pieces. And I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing? Lady?
Was it dark
You
liquor
want to go
day?
have some Jaeger later?"
Are you a Jaeger man?
Stop.
I used to be, but she broke me.
Oh,
She broke me.
Dave will tell you when I drank, I
can't
was
smell
never a Jaeger. Oh, I can't do it. Now, my best golf, and he was there. My best golf was Fireball.
Yep.
I would sit there. I'm sitting there golfing. I'd be Fireball, and all of a sudden that thing was just yes. I was about 305 back then because I could get behind it. Man, I was hitting some
my
straight
Lord.
shots. Now I have a picture of when I picked up the trophy
Oh boy.
for my son's baseball, and the coach he's a little runt, goofy doofus, and he got caught sleeping in the closet while he's supposed to be teaching a class. Anyways, he was no
my
longer with
Lord.
that school, and he's with others. But where was I going with that? I forgot it now.
You're
God,
getting
it
your
was so-
trophy.
Oh my gosh, I was getting trophies. I have a picture of him. And he's like 5'4", and he's looking at me. And I got these glossy eyes, and I'm smiling and shaking. And he's just looking at me because I guess we had a little too much fun. So, which I tended to do back then. Thus,
Well,
the
I found out-
non-drinking.
She cannot hold her Jaeger very well.
I can't smell it. It makes me
I
vomit.
can't handle Jaeger, but if you mix it with Red Bull, I could drink it all night.
You were a car bomb guy.
Irish
What-
car bombs.
Okay, what's in that? Irish car bombs.
Bailey's, right?
And it's Bailey's and whiskey in a shot glass, and you drop it into the Guinness.
I couldn't ever get into it.
Nah, I
Brett's
can't
a
get into
texture
Guinness.
guy, so as soon as it started curdling,
Yeah,
Oh.
Brett was
Nah.
done.
Mm-hmm.
Taco's a Jaeger bomb. I like Jaeger bombs, but
I like
Cheddar's
Fireball.
I remember
painkillers.
we had a couple of.
I actually
remember
got
when
Brett.
Burton and Bass came up.
Oh my God!
She
yeah,
was-
it was.
Oh.
I don't even know how.
That's when I solidified the deal, holding her hair. You know, it was over then.
When I
Right.
was managing the bars, I got Brett off. When he first started coming in, it was Bud Light and Patron all night long.
Hey, listen, I would do it chilled, no lime, no salt, just lining up doubles. Let's go.
Holy
And
crap!
if the bartender, and I mean I knew them all because I was there every day. If the bartender was like pouring a wine and never turned around, I would do it as a shot. And it was just a joke. I'd pay for it, and she'd do another one. And they're like, Brett, and they're trying to do it for another guest, so they're like lining them up. And if there was two, I'd do them. And next thing you know, I mean, well, how am I drunk?
oh my God!
Oh
So we-
man,
Yeah, so we get through the, you know,
courtship.
schmoozing her.
Yeah.
You know,
Where was your first date?
it wasn't the money. We, you know, contractors that,
Yeah.
you know, that lived in Mandarin, and so her and Hunter and Avery moved down to Florida. We get married. She stays home, raises the boys, does her, mother housewife thing. Was great.
Is she doing jams and jellies at this time?
Not at this point. She couldn't. Hell, she was raising
We were the
three boys.
neighborhood house.
We
though.
were.
We
We
were
were.
the neighborhood.
Everyone
I was
was
the
always
only
at your
mom
house.
that
That's
stayed home
The one
on
thing
on the whole street.
that I truly miss is pulling into the driveway on
Yeah.
a Friday night after being gone all week to a yard full of shit. There may be 14, 15 kids in the front. I never had grass, and thank God we didn't have an HOA. We couldn't afford to live in some
No.
bougie ass HOA because I'd have gotten a letter every week. I mean, the
Yeah.
kids just beat the freaking grass down, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
She would, we'd go broke. I was telling the kids a couple weeks ago, you guys have no idea how easy we used to have it. We used to could float a check on Monday and hope that bitch didn't cash till Friday.
Absolutely.
Could you
And they're
imagine
like,
these
What's
days?
a check?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Float a check, Thank God we had checks back then.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, mother
Right.
had to nurture every little freaking snot-nosed kid in the neighborhood. There was one summer I went door to door. Hey, child support, man. If you ain't
So
gonna
you were
pay
feeding like
up,
14
keep
kids
your
when they
little
were there.
Keep your little shithead at the house.
That's funny.
We're going through 2 or 3 cases of Coke every day. Scum of the earth contractor. But that's just who she is. She
Was that local too? I mean, you were
In
in
Mandarin.
Jacksonville. Okay,
in
you're in
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
Yeah.
Where was
So-
Nash based? On the south
So
side
we're in-
at the time?
Oh no, we've
No.
always been based Central Florida,
Central
south
Florida.
of Ocala. So I drive every day to Bellevue. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
One
I know,
way.
but- okay.
Now I was working out of town at that point, so it didn't
Right.
matter. I was
you'd
on
be
an
heading all-
airplane
right.
on Sunday night, Monday morning, flying back Thursday night, Friday morning.
So
It's Friday night.
so that's a big leap because you're running crews, right? You get your plumbing license, then you go get your mechanical license, and you just keep moving up. Now, are you running the whole project by that time?
I mean, I was running all of our out of state work.
And how many years are you in?
Oh, this was 08, 09, 10, all the way to about 16,
So about 12 years, 12,
Yeah.
14 years.
something like that.
That's not bad because
you know-
you're now in decent money
Yeah,
at
I mean,
that at that point, right?
okay money.
Okay.
I mean, we were 3 kids,
You had insurance,
and we raised them
vehicle.
like we were raised.
right.
I wore, to this day, I think I wear $25 blue
Yeah.
jeans,
Wranglers.
and
Yeah.
it was. I wore the Walmart back
Yeah.
then Goodwill. We wouldn't be caught dead in a Goodwill.
Yeah.
Now she's is all about Goodwill.
They dump good stuff.
I come home,
They
I got this
do.
nice looking shirt. Hey, babe, where'd you get that?
By the way,
Goodwill? It was $4.
By the way, I'm gonna ruin your Goodwill a little bit. By the way,
Oh, no.
donate to the Salvation Army.
It is. It's bad.
Goodwill,
And I still
Goodwill
go.
is not a non-for-profit
It's
company.
not.
It is a for-profit company. We are dumping stuff over. They literally are not having us pay for SKUs. And I have nothing against getting rid, but Salvation Army locally and
They do good
nationally,
for
they do
people.
very good work. I had a family member that lived with them for over 6 months, getting over addiction and things of that nature. And they clothe them, they give them a job. And there's other good ones too. The
I do hospice.
hospice is another good one, and the Teen Challenge here
Okay.
in Clay County is dynamic. They actually work in the shops there as well. I go in there from time to time, and we'll be looking for a chair or something like that for a show, and I'll go in. But
It's just hard to go by one and not.
Goodwill does it. They do it well. I mean, they do it well. I mean, they've got a great system. Anyways,
Yeah.
Capitalism.
the capitalism.
I love it.
Yeah.
Till I bring home
But-
all the crap.
No,
Yeah.
I mean he's right. It is.
But I mean,
It's a great business model.
If you're going to donate your stuff, sure, Salvation Army's probably,
And
if
the-
that's what you're doing it for.
And
right?
let me say this: I'm not so sure that Goodwill does not give to help and to grow people and to probably do colleges. I don't know all that. I just know, I've seen firsthand with.
Oh, I bet the CEO of Goodwill I bet he's not making minimum wage if I had to guess.
Oh no! Well, Mark Cuban was involved in it for a while, I believe. Look that up real quick. Now, don't show it on our thing. So go to camera only. Okay, sorry. Well, have the mic on you when you tell me you got me, Dave. Slide the mic in front of you. There you
I
go.
got you.
Okay, good.
He's got you.
He's got me. All right, so keep going.
So, you know, we always dreamed. She grew up on a farm, you know.
In Georgia.
In Georgia.
She's Georgia peach. Look at her.
You do
Look
have
at
the
me.
peach
I
on.
mean, look, how the hell do you think I got?
She cooks from Georgia.
315 pounds. You know, I woke up one day. I'm like, holy shit! what
You
a-
are not 315.
I'm not
He
now,
was.
but I was.
When I first met you?
Oh no,
No.
this
Okay.
was several years ago. Now
Okay.
I'm probably 30 pounds heavier than
Right.
you know. I got down to what 240. I'm probably back up to 270
Yep.
now, but so we always had dreams, aspirations of owning property and.
Mm-hmm.
And,
We couldn't do that. We were the only neighborhood house that had corn growing in their backyard.
We
Mm.
did. True story. We had a big garden in the backyard.
I mean, I grew up doing it, and his grandparents did watermelons, but I just could not have a garden, and we're the crazy people on
Yeah, so-
Sweetwater Oaks Drive that has corn growing in the backyard. But
We did. We did. We had the electric.
No HOA, so they couldn't say
No.
anything.
No.
Mm-mm.
Had the electric little fence around it to keep the dog out of it that she would love to play tricks on me and shock me with. And so, but yeah, we did. We had freaking corn growing in the backyard in Mandarin. So
when did Southern Grace start trickling in?
so we bought our farm out in Keystone in 15.
2015. Yeah.
And when I tell you this place was thick, it was wooded.
You
it
could
was
not
thick.
walk
You
through
couldn't.
it.
It was,
And
and
that's a little rare for Keystone, isn't it?
yeah, it was thick. And man, the three boys, Jamie, myself, and there was some weekends that I had, you know, some crazy buddies with tractors that, you know,
Had a good old time.
might have been a beer or two drank, you know, at the time.
There might have been a
Um,
cooler with some ice in it.
You know, might have been a couple of fires. Might have been one time that we had to call the forestry department out.
Not my fault. Thank God. And
Oh,
it's in
you're
my
doing burn back?
calendar every year. It comes up, and I'll call and remember.
And I hear
Today's the day
year.
that you caught the property on fire.
I did.
And we didn't have a well, and we
did.
had to call the forestry
And-
department.
I will say the fire was under control when they showed up.
Except the tree that was on fire at the top that nobody noticed.
Yeah, the forestry guy pulls up. This was after Clay County had already came, squirted everything down a little bit, and went about their way. The forestry guy comes about an hour later and pulls up and he goes, "Hey, you know that tree's on fire up there? Look up, and this tree's smoking." He's like, "You're having to cut that down." I'm like, "Isn't that what you went to fucking school for?" So
Hey.
I gave him my chainsaw. He cuts it down. The damn tree falls into the neighbor's property.
That we've never met.
Okay.
Catches the neighbor's property on fire.
Okay, so we're making good neighborly starts.
Yeah. And come to find out, she had been the sheriff's
Still
admin,
is.
still is to this day.
Okay, we love her.
And so, you know, we did get to meet her, and thankfully not the sheriff. But, you know, it was family time. You know, the kids came out.
So you knew you were going to plant out there. How many acres did y'all buy?
So we originally started with 5.
A little over 5.
A little over 5, and we've bought some pieces along the way. And
Well, the one next door became available, and he's like, "It's fine. I don't care if somebody buys it." And then I call him like, "Somebody's looking at it." Okay, yeah, that's not happening. I'm buying it. It took one person.
How much acreage? Well, I'll get in that in a minute. Dave, did you find it or no?
Yeah. I got it right here. I'll put it up on the screen for you.
So this will now show up on as they record it.
So Mark Cuban does a thing called the Suit Up Experience,
I've
where
never heard of that.
they dress kids. They give kids an opportunity to.
Through it. So is he part of Goodwill?
He teamed up with them.
Okay,
is what it
gotcha.
says.
Okay, all right.
I
So-
looked and it said he doesn't own any part of it, but he did team up with them to do that.
All right, so he's doing good. All right, cool. I like to make sure I'm accurate. I wasn't.
You weren't.
Well, he is somewhat involved. All right.
So she learned very early on how to operate the backhoe.
Would you let him on it?
No, I was
No.
the ground guy.
You're the great.
I tell you what, she was a hell of an operator too. She didn't kill me.
I still drive it more than you.
Yeah, she didn't kill me. But I didn't realize that I was teaching her how to dig with a machine. Like they'd never find my body.
Never.
They'd never find it. And I didn't realize that till
Matter of
I think
fact,
she actually brought it up. You know, I
think
do
my
know how to
sister
run
was there
that.
that weekend, and we were talking about burying you.
And
So-
they were
Yeah.
listening to some Dixie chick, Earl Had to Die. I don't know, have you ever heard that
oh
song?
my gosh, that's hilarious.
And they sold ham and jam on the corner of,
They did.
they did.
If she starts selling ham, I'm
Ham.
moving in with
Yeah.
you.
So, who taught you
Oh my
about
gosh.
canning, jams, jellies?
My mom did it. My grandmother did. My aunt still does it to this day. And I mean, I couldn't tell you how many acres. I always forget the farm.
Oh, I don't know. You were there today,
I was there today.
right? She was up
Yeah.
in Georgia today on the old farm.
I did stop by there.
Memory
they-
lane.
You would love it. It had 6 lakes,
Oh, bass.
bass and bram, which this one
Ooh.
here recently told me, "You don't eat bass." I went, "What?"
You
know
don't
she-
eat bass.
You know she eats bass.
bass is good.
What?
Well,
That's
hang
a
on.
sport fish.
No.
Listen, Jersey
Yeah.
boy.
You
Well,
eat bram
That's like eating,
too.
like catching a
No,
manatee and
no,
eating it.
No.
well, in today's waters, eating the bass.
Yeah, but these are pristine.
I
They're
used to catch
private.
them in Canada in the fresh lakes and everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
bass
those
is
are private.
really
story.
good.
That's a different story.
Private lakes.
Private
so.
lakes. Okay.
But if you go catch them out at Rodman or down somewhere like that, I'm
Well, I mean,
sure
they have
that-
3 eyes. You need to throw them back, right?
Man, yes.
We wouldn't be doing that in the Chattahoochee, but I mean, on the farm we had 6 to choose from, and there was some, 14,
I just never
15
grew up
pounders in
eating
there.
bass. That was just a sport fish.
Oh no, I'll eat them. But I won't eat them out of the.
no,
lakes
the
I fish
retention
at.
ponds.
Oh God, no.
Why you gotta act like I fish at retention ponds? What's that all about? I mean, I fish.
Yeah, he
I fish
would-
about the golf courses with all the rich
Yeah.
people honking at me, going, "You can't fish there. Shut up."
He'd have a field day up there.
Oh yeah, it's
Do many fish? Well, I mean, down where y'all live, the lakes are coming back.
they are. It's crazy. About the time they put that $42 trillion pipeline in from Black Creek all the way to whatever it is, Alligator Creek. I don't know
So-
how many millions of dollars, but now all of a sudden the lakes are full and the pipeline's not done yet.
So was it? The,
Yeah.
So was it?
Mother Nature works after all,
what do
guys.
you know when you don't block it off?
Yeah, let
Well, that
Mother
took-
Nature just do her thing, right?
That took years. All right, so you start canning. When did the idea come for business? I mean, to really turn it in. Let me guess. You were making it for friends.
Making it for friends, and then they
Christmas
would
gifts.
ask to buy more. That was 20
COVID.
COVID.
That's what started the whole farm.
Yes.
So we didn't have nothing else to do.
We had to be very recluse just because of Avery and not really get out and about too much. But we did have COVID really badly for a while. And
Both
that-
of y'all did.
on
Did you
Christmas
did you do
Day.
the shot as well?
So we made it through almost an entire, whenever that started, early 2020?
Yeah.
We made it all the way to December of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy story, right? So you always heard about the super spreader events. Height of COVID, 2020, Christmas. We're having Christmas at our house. We had,
Eve,
Christmas Eve night. We have,
about 14 people there. I think.
14, 15 people, our oldest son's in-laws and, just, we had a house full of people. Well, I get a text. I mean, literally, Ryan texts me from work and he says, hey man, I tested positive. And Ryan and I are connected at the hip, right? I
Right.
mean, we're always looking at jobs, or we're always together. And so
They literally were making plates to leave the
yeah,
house.
they're leaving the house, and I showed her the text. She goes, "What the hell do we do?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, hell, they're leaving now. Ain't no sense in ruining Christmas." So, long story short, we both wake up.
I
She
woke up
Christmas afternoon
Yep.
slept all afternoon, which is absolutely not her.
Right.
So she wakes up the day after Christmas, and she sounds like a gremlin. There's nothing wrong.
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm fine.
No, you're not.
So-
Come here, baby.
But somehow through all that, and I'll plug the UV lights
Yeah.
that we have in our AC system that Avery didn't get it the first time around.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
It
That
was
and the good
very
Lord.
Scary.
So let's talk about Avery for a second because we mentioned twice, so we know a little bit about, so the listeners do. So Avery is fully autistic,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna sort of let you run with it because you know, I mean, y'all have dealt with this. He is, how old is he now?
23.
Is he 23? That's a walking miracle.
He is
Yeah.
because he went in hospice at 9
And I didn't know that.
and he walked out.
So they're looking at you, telling you,
We were in Wolfson like a month. He's been,
Mhm.
I mean, he was in the hospital all the time.
Yeah, he was
All
all
the
the time.
time.
No,
Well,
this
well-
isn't just from the autism. Though.
No, he has mitochondrial disease.
which is
It's a
So biology 101, right?
Yeah.
Think back to your mitochondrial takes the food and oxygen and here I sound like a biologist.
I don't care. It's,
But
it's your
your
son. You know.
mitochondrial in your body,
cells.
in your cells, break down the food and the oxygen, and that's where you get your energy. And his chain, was there 4
4 or 5.
4 or 5 stages of that conversion, and his is broke in the first chain. So he's got complex 1 mitochondrial, which he
That's
does
sensory
not.
overload. That's
Well, and that's the autism.
okay.
But the weird fact is, and I don't know, don't quote the percentage, but like
Yeah.
80% of people with mitochondrial disease have
Mm-hmm.
that are autistic. So
There's something connected.
the autism and the mitochondrial are connected somehow. But
Mm.
mitochondrial diseases, I mean, it's gotten more. I wouldn't say popular is the wrong word, but there's more awareness about mitochondrial
Yeah, there was no
now.
awareness back then at all about autism, and it was bad when he was little because he didn't
frustrate
talk.
you.
He didn't speak till he was 5. We did sign language,
Wow.
and he's got what's called Arnold-Chiari malformation, where the
Superman.
it the
Ki-
back
what
of
was-
his brain stem grows down into his spine.
Wow.
Remember Who was this? What was the actor?
Oh,
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher
Yes.
Reeves had that.
Mhm.
That's really what.
Is that what caused his
That's
neck
what
injury?
caused his neck injury when he fell off the
Really?
horse. Was he had the same thing as where his brainstem was too far down into
Didn't know
his.
that.
And
yeah.
So does being fully autistic, does it affect learning ability and capacity and things of that nature?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he was too sick to stay in school because of germs, so he was pulled at 3rd grade. I think
Did
it was
y'all have to
3rd or
actually do the cover room and everything, or was it just more the germ stuff?
It was
and
just
the
keeping
ACs?
him. I mean, that was the hard balance, right? Of growing up, is the doctors wanted him in a bubble, and we
Yeah.
didn't know if he was going to live another 3 years, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 decades.
Because he
So
was in and out of the hospital so much.
we couldn't.
At what
tell
age did he
him-
start going in the hospitals?
Oh, 1. He spent the day after his first birthday in the hospital.
I see y'all two are sitting in the hospital on his first
I
birthday.
mean, at that point,
No.
it wasn't
Yeah.
me.
Oh, I
but-
got you.
But we spent numerous holidays and
I think we've
birthdays.
spent every holiday except Christmas in the hospital.
Because even recently, I mean,
Mhm.
last year there
He
was,
had heart issues. Yeah, he had an
Yeah.
infection in his heart.
and then insurance. It becomes a money game, does it not?
I'll let him deal with all that because I think they get to the point they're just tired of seeing his name come up on the screen and it says just don't answer the phone, hang up on him, or give him what he wants.
But is that not the only way to get this thing done?
It is. It's a grind of.
I mean, you're fighting for your son's life.
Well, not
Mhm.
only that, but it's. You're almost a number. right? Like,
You are a number.
Everybody's a number anymore.
yeah,
You're a
there's
number.
no.
They don't care.
And it's
ju-
not
hang on,
just.
and I just want to give a little headset because they don't see you. I mean, Dave is diabetes.
Yep.
You've lost a leg. You've lost all your toes on your other leg. So
Yep.
you have been in and out of the hospital, and you're about to go in here.
In January
Yeah.
for atrial valve replacement.
Yeah, so this is where I shut up a little bit, ask a few questions because y'all are the hit the damn thing again. Y'all are the experts on this. So
Yeah,
anyways,
he
back
lived
to
at
it.
Scottish Rite in Atlanta. That was our go-to hospital.
Were they good
And-
to you?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I can tell you-
everybody knew him, and
There's
he.
that organization.
Scottish Rite?
Mhm.
If
It's now called Children's Hospital of Atlanta because
It's not the hospitals that give you the problem, and per se,
It's
the
the
hospitals
insurance.
give you great care. It's the upper management of the hospitals
And
and,
the
those
insurance.
companies.
Because it's a profit. It's a profit. I
Mhm.
mean, they're
This-
for-profit
the
companies.
Scottish Rite, if I say like Steve Harvey, I'm going to spend every dime on Mama before I die. But
Yeah.
if we have money left, that's where it will go because
That's powerful.
they're, I mean, and I'm not saying that that's the only one,
understand.
but we lived it. We saw it. We saw the kids get ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if that's what the
He
hell they
wanted
wanted.
something
Yep.
that they didn't have, and they had a pretty good menu because
Yeah.
it was a 24-hour. You could, and one of the nurses left the hospital to go get him what he wanted. I mean, it
Don't
just,
you find like the
crazy.
frontline people are really? I mean, they're
Mhm.
the meat and bones of that
Mhm.
industry,
Oh yeah,
and yet they're handcuffed by
Mhm.
what they can and can't do. They're very good at working around the angles.
yes.
Mhm.
I mean,
and he was
within
never
the law, I
scared
mean-
of
And
anything.
and you got to
up
find the good
there,
ones,
and-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
finding the good doctors was and the
good
crazy
ones.
part is the doctor he had from age 2 till he was what 14
14, 15, yeah.
was ended up having adult onset mitochondrial disease and passed away.
Wow.
It literally
It was his
blew me
neurologist.
away
Huh.
because
Yeah,
I'm thinking
his
I'll never find
neurologist.
another one. I mean, it was horrible, but we found more, and the one we found here was
At UF.
not. No, I'm talking about when he was in the hospital at Wolfson. That was probably when I thought Greg was going to jail that day.
Oh yeah, I'll never.
He was
So-
in there a month at that point.
Yeah, we were. And she was what she called herself, a geneticist doctor. She wasn't even, I don't even know what the hell she was, but
I don't know.
she come up to the room. We'd been there a month, and she basically told us that, yeah, he's just, y'all need to go have him mentally evaluated. He's faking all this. No shit. And then she turns around and says, we're just going to let you go home and let him dwindle in peace.
Ooh.
That was the words.
In front of him.
Never, ever, ever will I forget those words. Like they're just it's like
Engraved in your memory.
Yesterday, just take him home and let him dwindle in peace, and probably need to have him evaluated because he's faking it.
How
That
wrong was she?
how quick did you light
Get
up?
across the room.
I walked out. It was either
Yeah,
hit a woman,
I was
which I've
about to
never
say,
done,
yeah.
or
that's
or
your son.
leave, and that was tough. And
Yeah.
brought him home. They brought the hospice bed in.
We'd had to sign DNR papers. I mean,
Because
Yeah, I mean,
because
the
you're
whole
listening
thing.
to the doctor.
Yeah, the whole thing. I'll never forget the local school,
Mandarin High.
Mandarin High, built him. The art teacher built him because it was right around Christmas time, I think, and
He's
they built him the
infatuated with
Polar
trains.
Express.
They
out
made his
of
hospital bed into.
they made
the-
his hospital bed into a
That's
train.
cool.
Yeah.
You got to meet Tim Tebow. We were at one of Tebow's first signings at the Avenues Mall, and I'll never forget when we were leaving, the crowd had kind of gathered, and Tim picked Avery up, put him on his shoulders, and carried him
to the
through
car.
the crowd. And he had his feeding tube in through his nose at the time. And,
Tim's
had
a
a-
special dude,
dude, he is,
He's
know,
wonderful.
special guy.
whether you're,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
whatever your college
yeah,
team is, right? It's
yeah.
dude never got a fair shake
No,
in the
they
NFL.
they all
No.
doubted him. I happen to know the family as they grew up. I mean, we were like besties or anything, but I had a little close inside view. My sister was real good friends with him, and they went to she went to the Philippines because they have that ministry over there that his dad did, who now is dealing. I think this is open, but is dealing with Parkinson's, and it's just. I mean, this man was a powerhouse. I watched. I heard of him when my sister over there, and I hope to get Matt Blythe on here. He used to fly the planes into the Philippines on the side of the mountain, and he was the one that really began to introduce me to a higher power. I remember during my alcoholism, and I'd gotten a DUI, and I was frustrated. My license was getting suspended. And I had my pout, and I had my head on the door, and I'm sitting there, and he said, I was pissed off. He said, "Brett, you mad?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." Well, first, I don't think I said yeah. He finally got it out of me. He finally got it out. He had bought my Bradenton Would You store, which I should have never sold him to it. I gave it to you way too cheap because I thought I could do it again in Daytona. That one failed. That was when the Golden Touch began to not work. I'll get into that one day. It was a great lesson for me. And that big old hedge, because everybody was making money in '98. It wasn't me, and so that was a cool journey. So we're heading over. He goes, "Brett," he said, "when you speak to your God," he goes, "how do you talk to him?" I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" I mean, I'm dealing with me being an idiot, He said, "God can handle your anger." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he kept going on about it to the point that I got a little bit emotional. And he said, "If you're mad, be mad. Talk to him." And I never did because what I grew up in was, "Don't you dare walk in front." I wish I could get to my demonic voice over there. I have a Satan voice button over there. So, but I learned that I could go home and get frustrated. And just like you are with your children, we love them through it. And that really began to change a journey on me on a higher power. That was really cool, which I call God, obviously. So
Yeah.
I like the higher power thing because it doesn't scare people. Whatever.
Yeah.
I always say this: if my God is who I believe he is, then he don't need me to needle people. All I can do is my part, and the rest seems to take care of itself. So you start with Avery, and I mean, you got him where you're at the house.
Yeah.
They're telling you he's gone.
2 weeks ago.
Whittling away is the verbiage.
They told you 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah. I said, let him go home and dwindle in peace, is what they said.
And so what happened? Miracles?
Miracle of God. To me, he woke up one morning and said, "What are y'all doing? I'm hungry. Let's eat." Do what?
And he at that time he wasn't
And to
getting
me,
out of bed.
it hit me like, oh shit, this is the last day, right? Like you always hear the
The
Right.
clarity before the end.
right
Right.
before the end.
You have a good
Right.
day before it happens.
Certainly didn't speak that or say that, but that was certainly in my mind of, this,
Right.
enjoy it, and not that he was ever cured,
Right.
but I mean, they come and pick the hospice bed up, and
What a day that was.
it was,
Crazy.
it was,
It was crazy.
and
From then
this
on
one's a
out, he
warrior, right? I
stayed.
mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing I got to escape it, right? I got to
Yeah.
get up, go to work, go out of town, go do my thing, unplug. Like I got a business to run.
Yeah.
I got people that depend on me to be there. I don't know how you get through that.
No,
But, I mean,
especially
she
your own
lived it.
son.
She lived it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, and
Still
still does to the extent, but he's old enough now where he can do some things, on
Right.
his own. He can, he gets a kick out of helping with laundry. He thinks that's a big deal, which I mean it is. It's
I like doing laundry.
he helps with the laundry and he's got his chores. He's got his peppers he grows and takes care of and makes.
Avery's Peppers with
Avery's
Southern Grace
Peppers.
Banner.
Um,
I meant to have his picture sitting right here.
there's challenges still with him.
Always will be, won't there?
Yeah, not just health wise, but with him being as sick with COVID, he's
Yeah, he ended
Well,
up
if
getting
anybody
He doesn't
gets
wanna-
sick, right? You got to
Well,
keep him away. I mean, because his
That's
immune
the
he
system.
is
thing.
now scared, and we have to make like last night. She was gone up. We'll get into where she went
Yeah.
earlier, later, but she was gone, so it was you know, me and Avery were partying it up in Keystone Heights last night. Woo, woo. So I said, "Where do you want to go eat?" So let's go get some sushi or something. And he's, "Nah. Can we just go to Johnny's?"
I love Johnny's.
I'm like, "Really?" He was, "I'm just feeling Johnny's tonight." And what it is he knew it was Sunday night and there wouldn't be nobody freaking in
very
Johnny's is what
aware.
it was, you know? So we pull up and he goes, "Oh, yeah, there's not many people here." So then it dawned on me, like, "You little shit. You had this planned the whole time." He didn't like being around people, not as much for the sensory thing, but I mean, that's part of it, but it's
The germs.
the germs.
It's
He doesn't
the
want to
germs,
get
and
sick. He
I don't
so
blame
many
him.
people
knows-
don't understand that. They think we just keep them, you know, away from doing things because we don't want him to.
Dave
do things,
focuses
and
on that
they
a lot.
don't understand. Like,
No, he doesn't want, and part of it too is the autism of just he doesn't. I think he could go in his room and never come out and be totally content, but he's also getting to the age of he sees his older and his younger brother, you know, getting married, having their life, and it weighs on him some days, and it's not every
Yeah.
day. Thank God that he's not, you know, it's not there present every day, but that's a tough conversation to have.
Can he live on his own?
mm,
No,
To a certain degree,
I
I
mean,
guess there's some.
I guess, you know, we can go off for a night,
Right.
2 at the most. She'll put meals in Tupperware and label them, and
Right.
you know, you have to call him and, you know,
you just
"Hey,
have to
did you
remind him
remember
of
to brush your
basic
hair? Did you
things,
remind
but he
yourself?"
can
to-"
remember something that happened 15 years ago, where was that to the T, but he can't remember daily stuff.
What is
it's
it-
so strange.
What is his special gift?
He loves electronics.
He's
he
very
loves,
good with,
You know,
Because don't autistic, they always, a lot of them have that one special.
yeah,
Yes.
he's really good at, you know, video games and just
Yeah,
techie,
'cause his-
techie stuff.
he sent me his Amazon Christmas list. No clue what any of it is. No clue. But
Yeah.
well, this is for that and this, and I don't understand it. I'll just buy it. I don't have a clue.
Don't get me. Don't even ask me.
So I'm gonna change a little bit, shift gears. So when you decided to go retail on Southern Grace, was it just one location initially, or did you know you were going to do 4, 5, 6?
No, we didn't. I mean, I remember the year we grew the first year we grew all the cucumbers. All I heard from this one was, "We'll never sell all this. What are we going to do with all these? We'll never sell." He probably said it 15
I still say that
times.
today. I
We'll
get
never
proven wrong
sell-
every
we're
year.
Never gonna sell all these. We're gonna be stuck with all these. What am I gonna do with all these And I'll just be like, "Shut up! Like, why are you even saying this?" And he
Look
would
at this
say,
face.
but
I'm
it's
gonna
a-
sell them.
But it is physically. I mean, it's labor intensive what you do.
But I like that. I like to be outside sweating and in the yard on the tractor. You know.
I know. I
like
told
that.
her. I said, I got to get Dawn Marie to come hang out with her, and she goes, "Not if she ain't gonna be in the field with me."
I'm telling you.
Well, I mean,
I've told her multiple times, "You're gonna have to find you a younger husband or something, because I can't keep up
Well,
with your
used
ass
to,
anymore."
it would be, "You're not going to outwork me." And he would literally get to the point that he would pass out because he did not want to outwork
I'd rather
me.
die than have her
And he
outwork
said
me.
that, "I would rather die than you outwork me."
how'd that work
And
for
he
you?
finally gave in.
Yeah, I just get to the point now. About 2:00,
I'm done.
I'm done. You can have this shit. I'll be inside if you need me. I'll come check on you in a couple hours.
But if you're going to grow, and we've had this conversation, this is good. If you're going to grow, just like you did with, with Nash, you got to be able to have people that can do things that those two hands can't do, and that becomes the difficult part, that because it's your baby. I mean, you have nurtured this thing to how many locations now? Well, shoot, no, hang
So-
on. Let's give the greatest news that just happened recently.
Today.
Today.
Was today the day?
Today was the day.
Today
Yes.
was
Okay.
the day.
Well, let's
You
hear
got
it.
one of them drum roll.
Man, I wish I could get over. We got to mark those things.
Okay.
I'll get there because you guys
You'll
will be
put
back.
it on and it'd be like the Ross.
Oh yeah.
Like the
Boo.
Demonis.
Like that gummit.
That would be so fitting.
So tell the news.
Yes.
Oh, we are now at Franklin D. Roosevelt State Parks in Georgia, which is up near Callaway Gardens, and it is the largest state park in Georgia. And it was a very cool, because I grew up there. I grew up going to Callaway's. I grew up at these parks, and just to have my stuff there
As an
Is-
approved state park vendor, right?
is
The
crazy.
process.
Well, you wouldn't have
Yes.
gotten it without that license you have.
My pickle degree, my vinegar degree.
Your vinegar,
vinegar
degree,
degree
which
that-
is Nabisco level, is it not?
I mean, that's top shelf.
Top
I mean,
shelf.
there's only a few
We still
million
gotta
people
print
that have that.
certificate, though.
I'm not one of them.
And we got to print that certificate for his office.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Very, this one is you talking about the true grind. That one. There's not many people in this world could keep up.
is
with
there
that
a
one.
vision? Is there a vision with it, Jamie? On the grind, like I want to be in these areas. Well,
I mean, no, I just keep going, and I don't know where to stop. That's
I'll start
my
putting the
problem.
Energizer bunny on the jars.
Yeah, that's because
So
I
they-
just go and go and go, and I don't ever know. I mean, he's like, "You need to sit down. You need to quit telling me what to do."
I try.
He's
Mama,
"You do."
Mama, when you listen to this, I try.
there.
I
But,
try.
but sometimes
You raised a hard-headed woman. I don't know where that come from.
But sometimes, I mean, that's
I
where your
can't sit
strength comes
still,
from,
though.
right?
I'm not a
Do you watch movies?
no. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a
So
movie.
she's cleaning inside when she gets in.
Listen, I usually lay down in the bed at night listening to the vacuum cleaner. And most mornings, I wake up to the sound of the vacuum. Like, did the dust bunnies have a party last night?
with
Like,
that
you just vacuumed one right before we went to
Don't care.
bed.
with that many dogs, they do. Them dogs can. They
We're down
track
to
it.
one.
Okay, well, I got 3.
Well, I mean,
Drive me crazy.
Oh,
he
yeah.
always says he wishes as he had a odometer on the vacuums we've been through, and it's just it's OCD.
Listen. True plug for Dyson,
Yes.
right?
I've only got 3.
If you ever want a testimonial, huh? She'll do it for the low price. We'll negotiate.
Give me the 4th one. Yes.
Now, you also had some magazine. You got recognized in what magazine?
Style magazine. for
Style
s-
magazine. Because you're at like 11 locations now.
Yeah. Honestly,
You don't even keep
I
track.
don't know.
Okay, I
Well,
like that.
And it's because now we're into wholesale. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it was the retail. And certainly, to be honest, I think Would You and V1 are the last retail, commission-based space
Why'd you
rental
decide to go there?
to V1. I don't know. It was
I-
No,
yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
was
y'all
the
absolutely
question.
crazy. Have you not heard the rumors around
I
here?
tried to talk her out.
That guy,
is
Brett,
weird.
he
I
weird.
know.
He is
We
aggressive.
should have listened.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
tried to
Arf,
talk her.
arf, arf.
She wouldn't listen as usual. No, it's just. I mean,
Thank
retail
y'all. That
is
was a good release. So that's as close as we're
I
getting
should
right
have walked
there.
in the door and said, "Oh hell no," turn around and walk out. But
Yep.
sucked her right in.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So, I think the retail is fun.
Yeah.
Especially with, and again, it is. It's.
It's
I
the people.
I don't need to blow smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
what that's about. But
yeah.
it's about, just like at Nash and partnerships, it's the same thing. I don't know shit about the retail business, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And haven't we told him this, Brett? And he doesn't listen.
Well, he does like numbers though.
He does like
And I
graphs
do
and
like
sheets and,
he likes
you know.
graphs and sheets. And
I do like my spreadsheets,
they're pretty.
but it's still, at the end of the day, business is business is business,
Mm.
and it's about partnerships, relationships, and just having fun, right? I mean,
The money
it's
comes.
hard enough.
It
It's
is.
This life is hard enough.
There's no reason to be ugly and nasty.
There's no reason
and
to
No.
not have.
not have friends that
I mean,
are
you
friends.
push our product harder than we push our product here, right?
Thanks.
And you have a vested interest,
I do.
right? You do,
I do.
but not near the invested interest that we do.
No,
But it's a partnership.
it is. I love to see people grow.
It's a partnership, and if more businesses would take that approach of,
People first.
dude, nobody.
Put
Nobody.
it up.
It is.
Okay.
Well, now it's on the screen for people to see.
There she is, holding a peach.
Yeah.
Home.
Greg's peach.
My peach. My peach.
Brother, I mean, you outpunted your coverage, that's for sure. Hey, girl, I get them digits. My wife will slap me. What are you talking about? Listen, I ain't got
It's
enough
the
time and
shoes.
energy for one.
Oh,
Two.
that's what I tell him all
These
the time.
guys, how do they do it?
That's what I tell him. Like, just go get another one. He's like, I can't handle you. How
What
the
are you
heck?
talking about? What
Who
the hell?
wants to start
That's
over?
like this, what is it? The sister wives? I'm like, that guy is the stupidest son of a bitch on the face of the
You're an
planet.
idiot.
Like,
How
I
do you
can't
take
keep
care of
one
4?
happy. How the hell do you keep 3 or 4 of them happy?
Well, he doesn't. Have you seen how he's
Oh,
falling
they're-
apart?
it's all- they're
well,
all
I mean,
apart now.
duh. There ain't a man smart enough on the
No.
planet to keep 4 women happy.
The
Shit, none of
minute-
us can even keep one.
The minute you walk out that door, they start talking.
I know.
I know. And they don't stop talking until you come
Hey.
back in that door.
Yeah,
And then-
Shh, Don Marie, shh.
Yeah, right. And then there's a game plan, and they implement it well.
you know,
Eh,
it is what it is.
yeah.
I quit fighting it a long time ago.
Well, I'm like Charlie Brown. I still go kick the ball every time, and she pulls it away from me every damn time.
I can't say that me and my friend Emily don't say it on the daily. Men are just stupid.
I mean,
Okay,
there is
hang
a
on a
When it
second.
lot-
comes to,
Hang on.
you
Are we
know,
stupid or are
We
we
just-
just simple?
Well, the thing is we hear we hear 0% of things that you girls don't say.
Right.
We don't hear it.
Right.
We're
well,
not mind
you don't
readers,
listen.
but we're not mind readers.
But
either.
you don't listen. I painted a wall orange, and it took you 3 days to notice, and I had to tell you.
Yeah, I still didn't notice. She goes, "You don't notice anything?"
I mean, even Avery came in there and was like, what is wrong with him?
She painted the stock room, and we're in there working. Been in there for hours. She finally stops, and Avery walks in, and I hear Avery said, "Did he notice?" So now I'm looking around. What the hell did
And he's still looking
What the hell did she
around.
buy? And I'm looking. She's dumbass. Do you not see a painted the wall peach? Oh, that looks really good.
3 days. How?
My wife's the
But you
same
can
way.
see that deer, over the mountains and through the woods.
Okay. The principle of reflection. That's how. And one day,
Drives me nuts.
well, what you love and what your passion is, what you see. So,
and I,
Well, clearly that's not picking up your clothes or doing laundry or taking out the trash either. Cause you
but
don't
that's
see
like
that
that's
either.
almost every dude.
it is. I mean,
Well, leave a note. Okay, I tape a note this big to the door, and he still walks past it. On purpose.
Well,
He'll get it. It's just not
It's-
on your
In 6
timetable.
months?
it's sort of
See?
like when I vacuum and I hit the furniture really hard. She goes, "Stop! I'll do it." I'm like, "Oh, but no, I got it." Oh, bam! Oh, bam!
See, you
If
do.
All
you hit it
right,
hard
you
enough,
do
then,
it.
yeah.
you
do it
shrink
on
her
purpose.
favorite shirt.
Yes,
You'll never have to do
never.
laundry again.
No, turn that red shirt pink. You're good to go. No, turn the white pink. Oh my gosh!
I don't know how they put up with us. That's the truth. I don't know how they do it. They all deserve gold medals. They really do. And I'm thankful.
Do we really? We got to bring something to the table, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
What do
I think-
What do I bring to the table? Let's see here.
Should we call a friend and ask her?
I can actually. I think I don't have. Do we got a set up where I can get Dawn Marie on here? That'd be funny. No, I don't want her on here. Why would I want that kind of authentic raw? Let's
You know,
see.
Phone a friend.
We're hunters and gatherers.
Yes, but see, the weird thing for me is I've been in a woman's world since I was 17, and I
I think
can
you get it a little more.
I communicate a lot better with females, but
Mhm.
but I got an alpha dude in me that's assertive. I don't think I'm aggressive. I think I'm assertive. I got that from a young lady that's in here,
Yep.
Miss Deanne. She changed the way I always, because I thought
You said change the way you thought after she told you
I have
that.
never let that go, because I literally thought of myself as aggressive. You know, I mean, a guy in a girl's in my girl's industry, but the majority of the people that do this and flip and everything are females. And so when you speak direct, to me, it's assertive, and inside is a passion. I want to help, but it doesn't come out that way sometimes.
Yeah, well, that depends on the person. too.
Yeah, but also I build my own stakes to burn me on too. I mean, I give out way too much information. I show the rawness of who I am, and I just am I am. I smoke weed. I do this. I do that. You know, ran with gangsters. It wasn't to be young. There's a purpose, and one day this story is not about that. But one day we'll get into this story about why I did what I did.
Makes you you, and that's what we love.
Yeah, I got a big God, and He puts me in neat situations, and then I'm an idiot, and I quit letting Him lead, and I get ahead, and before you know it, I got it. I got it. Yeah, and then I'm sitting with Trick Daddy, going, "What just happened?" By the way, he was like the biggest drug dealer in Jacksonville ever,
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
God.
"Yeah," and I'm
Who?
bringing
Trick
Trick
Daddy?
Daddy.
Trick
You can
Daddy?
Google him, and then
No, because I'm a thug.
huh? Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, man, he's my peeps. What are you talking about, kid? Yeah, so I had bought
Now that
Orange
song's gonna be
Crush.
stuck in my head the rest of the night.
Yes,
Oh my God.
That's crazy
Oh,
because you
baby,
got into
I'm a
Orange Crush
thug.
from trying to help
I had with lawn
with
care.
the
It was
lawn care
It was
business.
the dad, and then the son.
Yep.
Yeah, then the son, and then I got way ahead of God, and it cost me a lot of money, a lot of embarrassment on the street, and another failure. I love failure, because that's just one more way. That didn't work, and I learned this. But you know what I did learn off all that? Because even in failure, and we'll get back to this in a second, because I know y'all have some, even in failure, I always get one thing: I'm not going to do that again. Because what I realized in that whole 2.5, 3 years that I was trying to help, I violated every sound business principle that I ever knew. And I told you that while we were going through it. I said, I'm not, because I didn't want to be seen as a racist. And so I didn't make an NDA. I didn't make a non-compete. I did anything you and I would sign, and then we know each other. But and it ended up biting me in the butt. But that's okay. So you get back to Southern Grace. You're at 10 plus locations. Now you're in
Multiple states now.
multiple states,
Yeah.
and
Look out.
you have the soldiers.
St. Michael Soldiers.
Okay, shout out to St. Michael Soldiers, because
Wonderful group.
you're a
Yes.
large partner with them. Y'all tell them a little bit about what they are and what y'all do with them.
They send boxes to troops overseas who are on deployment, which they sent to our son Dakota when he was on deployment with Eisenhower last year.
I mean, you did like 500 boxes, 500 cases.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah?
can't even.
No,
I don't
we've
even-
gosh, I don't know how many cases that we've
They
done.
do the fire department for Clay
First
County,
responders.
First responders, Mother's Day. They do all the moms, because we were at a show a couple weeks ago in Mandarin, and one of the
Yeah.
firemen
One of
had
the firemen said, "Hey,
I know this
Yeah.
brand. I've
Yeah.
seen
That's
this.
cool.
I got it from St. Michael's. I got it out of the box." And he came up and buy a box.
I gotta have more. I didn't know where to get it."
So do you start thinking about co-packing? I mean, this is a tough
Yes.
journey for you.
But it's hard to find.
It is
I
hard
would
to find.
love to have that help, but finding that help is not as
haven't
easy
found it
as I
yet.
thought.
I love the word yet. I know, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also right. We grow. Not all. I mean, it's tough, right?
Yeah,
Especially as you grow,
yeah,
You can't.
you just can't.
yeah.
And so we still grow a lot of it, and it's just our jams and jellies have 3 ingredients.
Right,
The fruit, the pectin, and the sugar.
Yeah.
That's it.
right.
And you lose a lot of that farm to table. I mean, I know that's
Right.
a buzzword, but
No,
I mean, it's
yeah.
true. It when you grow it in the dirt and you pick it and you produce it and you put it in that bottle, there's a reason why our jellies and jams are $8 a jar, and you can go to Welch's Jelly and go get theirs for $2.
Well,
Right.
then I'll have all the crap.
It doesn't have all the crap, and
Right.
it doesn't have near the I guess love, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of passion that goes into
A lot of pride.
but it's damn sure not a money thing,
Right.
right? Like, you know how many jars of, I mean, she does well,
Right.
but you know how many jars of jelly you got to make and sell to, you know, and that's what it's never been about that for her. You know, for me, I'm a numbers guy.
Right.
That's me, right? It's you can't do this and you can't do that because you're not making any money. You're not, you know, like,
Because you're expanding your brand as well, right?
Yes.
yeah. So we've gotten into some other things, you know, the mercantile and
Loofah.
you know, we're now
Loofahs.
loofah farmers.
My bride is, I mean, obsessed with your loofahs. Did you know? They grow loofah.
I had no idea.
I didn't know you could even grow loofah.
Nope.
It was
But-
our first,
Search for it up there, Dave, while we're talking. Put
It was
the
our-
camera only.
loofah,
and
yeah,
it's spelled 2 different ways. So
and it grows really good in Clay County. Who
It
knew? Who knew?
does.
Really?
How do you
Who
spell it?
knew?
It's either LUFFA or LOUFFA. It just depends on who you talk to.
Once you try it,
If you're
it'll pull
from
it
Georgia,
up. Now your peaches and apples, you get exclusively from Georgia.
Yes, we have a place in
Lane's
Lane
Packing in
and
Fort Valley,
yep, Fort Valley. We go every year. I will not.
and then Ella J North. So her parents still live up North Georgia. So
Right.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Is that
I
at the
tried a
foothills?
Florida peach, and he's like, "It's fine." I'm like, "It's horrible. Sorry, they suck."
I mean,
But that's what makes the product so good, though.
Yeah.
So biggest, and I don't need like the actual experience unless you want to get into it, but like your biggest, just that biggest headache in the industry would be
it's me. I'm her biggest headache.
that would be that would be employees. But I've got a picture of you.
But you
sitting-
know, I try to get fired like on the daily.
it is
Doesn't
not
work.
happen. No.
Can't do it.
It's like that meme. I work for my wife. I do this for my wife. That's him.
So I got it up
yeah.
there. I never knew loofahs grow out of a seed.
So real quick, funny story about the seeds.
Keep going.
So she'll, you know, as they, and they're kind of finicky. If you leave them on the vine too long, they dry out and they don't
They're
peel
hard to
very
peel.
well.
Huh.
And if you pick them too soon, you can actually eat them.
So they grow into like the pink where Dave's click that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dried one.
Holy mackerel.
And they
Look
have
at
about
that.
100 seeds per
Per
loofah.
pod or
Yeah.
loofah, whatever. So when
Is it
she'll-
like a corn stalk?
no, it looks almost
No.
like a zucchini when
looks
it
like
grows.
a-
there it is.
yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And it will grow as long as your fence is. It does. I mean,
Yeah.
it takes over.
Oh yeah,
How fast?
Quick. It's a vine,
So it's profitable.
I guess. I mean, hell,
Here-
we've sold every one of them we've put over in Mandarin. So
And you have to cut at Vintage One Furniture and Decor.
Would you-
10100 San Jose Boulevard. Thank you very much.
We sold them in like 2 days
Yeah.
over there.
yeah,
Like,
it's and I mean, so when you peel them
yeah.
and you have to beat them on a bucket to get the seeds out.
Right.
And of course, you know, that leads into a whole nother business adventure of now we're selling SGM loofah seeds if you want to grow your own, you know. So she's out on the back porch beating the seeds out of these things. Think anything about it. Well, several weeks go by and I won't tell you what I was doing on the back porch, but there's a reason why we live out where we live.
Right.
Because
I mean, you have
I like to
indoor
do certain
You have
things.
indoor plumbing, but a man enjoys
marking his territory. right?
marking his
I don't-
territory.
I mean, you don't see women doing
So-
that. Whatever.
But you
Well,
don't
it's
see
'cause y'all
girl. But you don't
squat.
see girl dogs walking around. You know, it's
But
just
you
the
can squat.
difference.
We can't see y'all when you
God
squat.
made us different.
Yes. Don't
Right.
judge us.
That's
Don't
right.
be jealous.
Ugh.
So I was doing what most men do. I'd like to say all men, but not in these days and
no,
times.
No,
but
not all.
we will.
All the new Tundra
digress.
drivers.
So I'm out inspecting the back porch area, and I look off in the yard, and there's these freaking loofahs growing everywhere. Honey, do we need to have a birds and the bees class? Because
Well, it was pissing me off because it wouldn't come out, so I was beating the hell out of the thing. The seeds just flying all over the place, and
so there's
by
loofahs
then-
growing all over the backyard now. Of course, the lawn guy, he took care of them, and now they're cold. But I just thought it was funny.
So now y'all bring it to a certain space and beat it so you can save the seeds.
Oh no,
Yes.
sure.
I mean, we
but
do,
we do.
save
But
the seeds.
my
but,
God, there's like she
oh
said,
my
there's
God, there's hundreds of seeds.
and they look like a
Hundreds.
really big
It looks like a
watermelon,
watermelon seed.
like a big watermelon seed.
And can you adjust the strength of a loofah by like how long you leave it, or
If you yes, if you leave it on there longer, it is harder, and if you do it, y'all are so good.
I didn't even.
I know what you're.
She
both
can
thinking.
look right into my eyes and into my brain.
If you
I
pick it greener, it'll be softer. If
Yes.
when we do them when they're really brown and crunchy and have to soak them, they
are harder.
but they are like scrub daddies. I mean, we use them for everything.
They are good.
and you
I mean,
and
and
you
they're
cut
all-
them and everything.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
you use with a saw or just
No,
Just with
just
a
with a
bread
pair of
knife.
scissors or a knife, or she's gotten to where the little rejects that don't make the cut.
Don't
She
call them reject.
that's why we can't have
right?
farm animals.
This
You
is
are
the
right.
cells.
She now puts the little pieces that didn't make
pieces.
the grade
There you go. I
Yes.
like that. Well
Okay.
done.
That's
in the
better.
soap. So when you use the soap, because you know
Oh,
how
I li-
men are,
oh, I
we
like
don't
that.
ever use a washcloth.
No.
Right? But so now you're getting the
Yeah.
So it's
know,
like a pumice inside the soap.
you get
kinda.
the exfoliation,
Correct,
Dave. It's
David.
called
Look at you two.
exfoliation.
Pumice and exfoliate. Dadgummit. Pumice and exfoliation.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
It's probably a word you never thought would come out of my mouth.
Yeah,
couldn't
so he
spell it.
comes home and he's like, "So we're
No, I
doing
can't spell it, you're
soap
right.
now too?
Yes.
Why not?"
Yeah. So we make soap. We, grow loofahs,
You're making soap too.
jams, jellies, salsas, pickles. I mean,
Are you ever afraid of getting so many SKUs? I know he is. Getting so
yes,
many
he
SKUs that you water down your brand.
that's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the freaking work that she creates.
Because
Right.
so many SKUs.
Well, it's just a lot. And
Yeah.
it's,
And we don't do. I mean, loofah's a seasonal thing.
it's
You know.
easy. You put the damn seeds in the ground,
I mean,
you
we
water
literally
it. and
got those off of 2 plants,
What's the hardest to grow?
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Just
know-
because
Oh,
you
well-
lost a lot, didn't you?
We
This
lost
year.
a lot
Damn
in the
tomato though. You,
hurricanes,
you
yeah.
you water it too much and it cracks and you water it not enough and it cracks and you never know what the hell. I
And if,
swear
God forbid,
tomatoes
if
are
you get
female
a
because you
horn-
never know what the hell they want.
If you get a hornworm on it, it will take the whole row down in a night.
And you got a lot of salsa.
Oh
So-
yeah.
So
you're-
basically,
we're
do you guys
babying
just
it.
eyeball it on a daily basis for water? Or?
No,
No.
we have an irrigation system.
It's all underground drip. We can inject the fertilizer through the
Can it tell the moisture content of the ground and everything?
old finger, baby.
There you go. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
you
You
have a
monitor
I
it.
just figured Greg would have something fancy. He
does.
got
Yeah.
fancy
Don't let-
screws.
yeah,
Okay,
say
here it
don't-
comes.
yeah,
Thank
he
you.
does.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yes.
Tell me.
He does. He's got a reader for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah,
Don't-
he's not
don't
out there
let him-
finger like he's out there. He's out there holding the two wires.
Like
putting
us
it
trying to
together.
do the
Right,
plant.
right
This
here.
feels a little
Right.
bit dry.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the water right here.
No.
He's already checked. He had somebody come out and do a drilling for him.
We did make a big improvement a few years ago with the cucumbers and putting them on cow panels, and it is a lot better. We made tunnels so I can just walk through and pick them instead of like
Instead of me
standing
holding her by
Yeah.
the ankles.
on my
Yeah.
head and trying to get through them.
But I mean, y'all two are doing all this
Mhm.
while you have AC, while you're working Nash.
We're insane.
When do you get to the point where it's? I mean, I know you've tried to have people, and it's hard to have somebody that does what you do that can work at your level. You may actually have to use part timers. Burn one out, get another, burn that one out, half a day, quarter of a day. Okay.
I'm burnt.
You don't count.
Have
So
you
try
seen
to get fired every day. I keep looking for HR. I never can find HR. I don't know where they're at.
Have you seen the at a lot of the farms they have the machine? It's not a machine, but these guys lay down on like a grate, and their faces and almost like a massage table, and it runs over the lines, and they're picking.
I would never share it because it's cheaper to keep her at this point.
Yes.
But I do have pictures of her laying down in the garden doing the same thing.
It makes sense because that bending over, it'll kill you.
I was bad on your back.
It is, but you say crazy, and it's not. I mean, yes, it's a for-profit business. For me, I put my heart and soul into it because I see the satisfaction this one gets out of it.
Yeah,
right?
you
Like,
said that.
she has raised kids, and now that the kid and Avery now can do a lot, but we're empty nesters for the most part, and
Till he's hungry.
until he's hungry. But it's that woman's, I guess, desire to always want to be
Taking care of something.
contributing to something. And her contribution to the family was always, hey, run this one here and run that one there. And hey, make sure that laundry gets done and the house is clean. And hey, by the way, we're having a party this weekend for one of the kids' birthdays, so make sure the house is done and the groceries are. I could never.
He doesn't multitask.
I can go
very
build,
well.
a 10-story hospital in 2 years.
Yeah.
I couldn't do what she does day in and day out, especially with the kids. And then now the kids are grown, they're successful. I take very little credit. They're good hunters.
Right.
They shoot well. I'll take that credit. But they're good people. They providing for their families, and now I see that same satisfaction in her eyes.
She had a little
doing
more
this.
time too.
And that's what does it for me, right? Is seeing her get the satisfaction of, building something from scratch.
So, Mr. Numbers guy, do you see it? There's a point where the profitability really starts, going up at a really high angle. Once you start getting the flow and who to make it and how to make it, and if you find a co-packer or you find a better system. So, the national park's one thing. Then you got Florida. The name's only going to grow bigger and bigger. Are you prepared for that growth?
I think
He's
she
not.
is more than
He's not.
me.
Are you
He's
ever
not.
prepared for the growth? Was
No.
Nash prepared for the growth?
No,
I think, and it's different
Yeah.
because
it is different.
the construction world, we go book the work and then we go
that's
buy the
very
stuff.
true. Very
Whereas in
true.
her world, it's the opposite. You've got to go invest in all of this and in hopes that it sells. Us, in the commercial world, in the construction, we go book the work. I know as long as I perform on that contract, I've got the job.
Right.
So she can go perform all day, every day in the kitchen and make case after case after case after case. But if it doesn't sell, she doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's a different world for me. And
Yeah, that's where the whole, what is your business plan? Well, I can't tell you that there's going to be
Oh
12
my gosh,
people that
listen.
Come. If one more person
Thank
asks
you.
me that, I'm going to shoot them.
Let me tell you something. If banks, I would sit down with them and I would start explaining. They go, "Well, what's your business plan?" And I finally got, when I was doing the SBA and everything, I said, "I'm not writing a business plan. I'm not doing any more business."
No, you
Because
can't.
if you're a small business owner, you're like a middle linebacker. You keep your feet chopping. And I would always tell them this: you tell me what the customer is going to want and when they're going to want it, and I'll tell you what I'm going to bring
Right.
in. Oh, you can't do that? Well, neither can I.
Right.
And neither can any other. Now,
And
you
that's-
can
I
get.
think
see,
that
and I
has
don't live
always
in that
been
world.
A
Oh, it
very
is
a tension thing
Yeah.
with us because he always wants a plan. You
Yeah.
cannot plan for
can't.
retail. You
You can't.
cannot.
30
You cannot. You cannot. You cannot. And
I'm
he just-
30 plus years, Dave. I couldn't have wrote a book if you told me where I was going to be and how I was going to get there in the path. I got into roofing. I was scared of heights. Come
I don't
on.
think he has some part of his brain because he's been in it so
it's just
long.
entrenched in me, right? Like
Yeah.
that's construction is my world. That's what I've.
But there's a place for numbers because and Dave's heard me say this a million times. What does not get measured will not improve.
Mhm.
And that's why we count customers. That's why we look at our tickets. That's why we know our average ticket. That's why we know when it's up, when it's down. You know, I mean, we had a ton of people in the other day, and I mean, sales were good.
Yeah.
And
I
I've had
I
a
mean,
ton of
he
people in,
does
and they
he'll do that. I mean, he'll.
Yeah, I
if it-
keep up with what's, I can tell you the top 10 SKUs.
Do you ever think about dropping out? And this is more for you as well, because I know he shows you the data. Do you ever think about dropping out the 80-20 rule, where you take out the bottom 20% sellers?
We've taken it. What?
Do you have an exercise y'all
peach.
run through it, or
We still do the peach.
Not peach daddle.
Oh well, we just ran out of time this year.
That's pretty much what happened with your onion jam, right?
Yeah,
There's
that too.
just-
That would just, we go through every year and kind of evaluate it, but then it's always those.
There's there's something else in it.
There's always something. Mango salsa was one that we.
but you could almost do it seasonal, couldn't you? And so where it's
Yeah, that's what we were gonna try, but it just never seemed to get there because it's always then the minute, like strawberry daddle, we were gonna take out. Okay, so we talked about it for weeks. Well, then we get a 3-case order for that, or for somebody at World Equestrian, and I'm like, he's like, well, now so and so wants this, and well, how do we tell them?
But there comes a point that you have to have to say no to new. This is my 2 cents from the way I understand it. Tell me if it's obviously right now it's different because you keep making it, but otherwise you will spread yourself so thin that then you're not getting the cases. Then you're doing the multi-case, and because your batch work is your key. I mean, numbers, right? I mean, you want to batch it out.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, we always talk about, because we're in a commercial kitchen,
right?
And we rent space in that kitchen, and it's not overly expensive, but it's still an expense,
Right.
And
Well, time too.
when it's her and I, we're like machines.
We don't
don't
even
talk.
speak.
We don't.
The whole time
It's
we're
just
there.
It's
And it's not because we
like-
don't want to talk. It's
Right.
just we know
You're
what
just so
the
busy.
next
It's just
thing.
dancing, Dave. We're just
coming,
dancing
what
through the
next
kitchen.
thing that has
it's
to happen.
Choreographed.
So he,
beauty.
Yeah.
it is crazy. Even one of the owners came in because he was watching us, and he's like, I just can't even get over what y'all are doing in here.
And but it is, and it's our. That's how I've always been. It's how she is.
Are you sourcing well? Like all your materials and everything, like the
Yeah.
bottle, not your bottles, but your glass.
That took a
and-
little bit, and
Yeah.
we're
'Cause
still.
that's what I was asking.
COVID was a challenge.
Yeah,
COVID was a challenge.
tell me about it.
With sourcing jars, but we have a good source. I think it could be better.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
So what's the next path for Southern Grace? There, Miss J. And there doesn't
Just
have to be something
see.
grand.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, who would have thought that I would have been in FDR when I was little, walking through,
I think it's cool.
the
I think
trails
that's-
up there.
I think it's
and-
pretty neat.
I think it's pretty cool to,
My
I mean, she
grandmother would
drove
be very
all the way up
happy.
there, dropped it off, drove all the way back, and then look at her. It's like she just woke up.
Did you get some pictures?
I did.
Okay, good, because we can post all that and everything.
And the lady, when she gets the display up, she's going to send me pictures. And
So I'll tell you a very funny story about Cumberland Forest. Is that what it is?
Cumberland Island.
No, wherever they have all the stupid butterflies. All
Callaway.
yeah, Callaway Gardens,
Oh.
whatever. All you bird tree hugging people. Love
I
y'all.
don't understand how he doesn't like.
Okay,
the
so
cat-
listen,
the
I did- I ha-
butterfly enclosure.
I
like, that's like,
absolutely love the butterfly enclosure, and
Okay.
let me tell you why. So I went up there with my family, bored is all I'll get. They walked me through to look at all these flowers and everything, and I don't really get into flowers, so I'm like, okay. And I had no medicinal marijuana, so that wasn't going to be fun, with mom and dad. So dad doesn't smoke. So anyway, so I'm in there, and there's all these people with these binoculars, and they've got books, and there's all these butterflies, and you go in, and it's like this. It's an
an
enclosure.
enclosure,
It's-
yes.
And there's all these beautiful greenery and the walkway
hundreds of
just goes,
butterflies.
it just
Yeah.
circles and you can't see where you're going. You go down steps and just all these pretty little butterflies just flying around.
How?
Well,
How do they do?
just
One
a
more time?
fly, just a flying around, just a little butterfly. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I am so bored. And I just happen to be sitting there, and these moments come with me. Y'all been around enough that they just, and I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But inside, I know I'm going to do it. And I'm sitting there, and they're looking at their book, and one of them's talking about the butterfly, and I was sitting there, and I stood there really silent, like I was one of, and I'm watching. I went.
I'm surprised he didn't get kicked
And
out.
luckily, well, I had it where, I mean, it was a good smack. And the gasp that came out of their mouths was a
Got him.
drug that ran through my vein. And the warmth, I don't do drugs, but I can only imagine. And so the next 25 minutes to an hour, I am finding every serious butterfly lover, this butterfly lover, and just doing this. And I got better with the slaps and better with the, the first this and then that. And I hone the skill. And then here comes my father. And then I teach him my skill sets, and off he goes. And before you know it,
God.
I got me, him, and Bart, and the three of us. Now Bart, he's no good at it. He's blowing the whole
This
gig.
doesn't surprise me.
And then we bolted. So that was my. And so now all the time we're home, and I go, "Can we please go back to the butterfly exhibit?" But it's not to check out the butterflies.
So when you go back, stop at the gift shop at FDR right down the street. Get a
I will.
support.
I
Please.
will absolutely.
Yeah, it's a
Hey, you
cool
could take
place.
the jar of jelly in, and it would attract them. The sweet, the
Ooh,
butterflies.
dude,
See?
you could do like my son does in baseball. They try to use a little sticky, especially if fan and banana. I mean, so I could put a little jelly on there, and they'd come to me sooner.
Mhm.
But then the
You'd
greatest
end up
fear,
smacking one for real.
the greatest fear is I would accidentally smack one, and then all of a
Yes,
sudden
and
I
then
got,
they're like,
oh
here
my
comes the butterfly
gosh,
police.
I would be on the news
Yes, you would.
I mean, because then what goes on there? I mean, they don't
It's
let a black guy
massive.
go
I mean,
play
that
golf,
place
or they
is
kill a
huge.
butterfly. It's one of the two.
It's an amazing.
But it is
thing.
cool.
It is
It's
an
cool
to
amazing
see.
place.
No,
know.
my and around there they have the drive-through animal thing
Yes,
as well.
Pine
Okay,
Mountain. Mhm.
Pine Mountain, that is a blast.
Okay,
I'm taking you
that's
up
cool.
there.
Okay.
That is what
I'm
we
take-
no, we need to do
Okay,
a
we
trip.
should
Yes, because
because it's not that far of a drive. What is it?
it's like 4.5
4.5 hours?
Yeah,
I can do
it's
it.
not bad, but we've been through there so many times.
We'll
with the
take your
kids.
car.
And, I mean,
No, we'll
you
rent.
have to take a car that you don't care that gets scratched.
Oh no, I
All the
rent.
animals jump on the car and
Oh,
stuff.
they will get in the car.
No,
Oh,
I,
that's
I
awesome.
rent their van, which has no windows, and then
Mhm.
but Bam, my oldest, 26, 27, he still has a thing with llamas because those llamas would literally chase him, and he's like, and they're just pecking away at him inside. He's screaming. Mr. B's slowing down, so everybody
I mean,
has
the
terror.
giraffe will literally come to the window and stick his head in the window and look for the food. I mean,
When you
it's
see
crazy.
when you see those legs walk by you're sitting in the van, all you see is you can imagine what the dinosaur like. It's just, and all of a sudden it stops and there's no movement, but there is. He's putting his head down, but you don't know it. And all of a sudden there's this big old head sitting at looking
And
at
that
you.
tongue
The
hanging out.
purple
Oh
tongue
my
that
God.
comes
Boy, let me
out.
tell you, they can be pretty as they want. They all got nasty tongues. And it just comes and wraps around your face, and
It
you're
does.
throwing food at it
Mhm.
and screaming. It is a absolute blast.
It
Everybody
is
should
fun.
everybody should go drink Tito's and drive through it.
Oh my God, yes. It
Just
is
don't
a
let the
lot
guy
of fun.
drinking Tito's drive. So we all safe.
No, that's a field trip.
Field trip.
Will you
Field
stay? Will
trip.
you stay?
We gotta
in
go restock.
will you stay in Keystone? I mean, because the growth's coming.
It is.
I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah.
We've talked.
Is it serious talk or just because you've got
I don't know. I mean,
you've got your
He
system
goes
set up
back and
too.
forth. I mean,
we're back. We are. I
But
mean,
where would you go?
it's a long haul.
Oh,
to the
that's right.
office,
That's right. Okay,
you know,
sorry.
And there's a part of me though that needs that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yep.
not quite an hour and a half
Yep.
each way,
Yeah.
but there is a big part of that drive of. I think that's why we've been married as long as we have, because
Yep.
that gives me time to unwind. She has an hour and a half heads up that I'm heading home to get the boyfriend gone. you know.
Absolutely.
It just
I get out of there as quick as I can.
it really, that's going to spark.
I know,
right?
Absolutely.
See, I told you.
I knew it. Absolutely.
If it was up to
No.
Jamie, they'd be living up in Massachusetts.
Oh, there will be a time that
Do you-
we have
do
a
you-
house in Gloucester. Yes.
Oh, you have the town.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, she
And
lives
where did that come from?
a recent trip.
To see Kenny.
We travel every year
We
to go
traveled
see
the nation to see
Kenny Chesney.
So that's right, because I noticed y'all went to. So do y'all? Is it like a week long, or is it every year you go and?
We just choose somewhere
Different every year. And this year, she's always wanted to go hear Kenny sing Boston live.
Because that's the only place he sings it.
The only
is
place
in-
he does it. So I got tickets to Foxborough. I've always wanted to go to Foxborough.
Yeah.
I hated
Yeah.
Brady.
I know.
Hated Belichick.
I know.
Cheating bastards. But,
They're 3-10 now, so we're good.
So we did. And we were south at Nantasket Beach. And then we went up to Gloucester. And we travel great.
Yeah.
We don't travel well with other people just because we're spontaneous. We just, hey,
Yeah.
let's go here. Let's go then. She wants to see the entire
There's no
state
vacation
of
So
Massachusetts.
there's a
and-
grind when you even go on a
hell
vacation.
yeah. It's hey, we got to be here. Here's the itinerary for the day.
Oh my
and-
gosh.
Oh yeah, she
Oh, when the
planned. She's
kids
got a
were
binder.
little, when the kids were
Oh, yeah.
little,
The whole
and that we went on vacation, it was the binder of what's going on that day, what we're eating, what they're wearing.
You
who's
had a
ba-
freaking binder, Jamie.
Uh-huh.
she
I
still
mean,
does, even with no kids.
Yeah, like
That's
who
a
was
little sexy.
bathing-
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean,
I-
you don't
who
have to
was
think.
bathing the kids that night? Who
I
was
love it.
doing the dinner? Who was doing the laundry? Who was doing? I mean, I knew exactly what we needed at the store when we got there. I knew everything about the city and where we were going, what time we were supposed to be there.
And she wonders why I don't pick up my clothes. It wasn't in the binder.
Put the check mark in the binder. So that's what a man needs. We need a checklist.
Yeah, you're giving the kids the bath tonight
Yes.
while I do dinner, and then tomorrow night, it was just all
Yeah.
laid out for me. I'm very good at following directions. Just give me the directions. right?
What is your go-to meals that you cook?
Me,
Yeah, now Jamie's sitting right here.
when she's not around,
Yeah, when she says
either deer
Oh
tacos,
yeah, I can't be there.
deer tacos, deer spaghetti, deer chili.
so you have a lot
So
of deer
anything
meat.
with venison.
Because she won't eat it.
I
She won't.
can't.
She
I
doesn't
was
So
like
you
the
eat
smell.
what you
I was
like when she's not
pregnant,
there.
and I got it was a bad
And the kids
experience,
love
and I
it.
can't handle it.
Hang on a second. You don't eat venison?
No, I can't. It was one of those like when you're pregnant and have a bad experience of the smell of it. It never goes away.
Venison.
But you've never tasted my meat.
I,
But she never will. She never will.
I was about to say it's been a long time for not tasting that man. So,
just not my.
So,
I just
that's
can't.
my
I can't
go-to
smell it.
is
I love
the
venison.
deer chili, deer spaghetti.
Oh my
you know.
gosh, I'm so jealous. My father-in-law was a avid hunter, and so for decades,
You always had meat.
we never ate hamburgers, and the leanest meat you can have, and
It is good for you,
yeah.
but
And now he's gotten older, and he doesn't get up there anymore, and I'm very bitter at him. Not really. He still can shoot real well. I love you.
This is why
So-
we need Greg to find us a backstrap one day inside of.
I know where to
Vintage
find
one?
one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the
now?
boys back. So Avery killed his first deer a couple
Okay,
weeks
wait
ago.
a minute.
Yes,
So I
he
missed
did.
that. The last one I heard was my kind of hunting would have been he and I eating chips and chit chatting.
Yeah.
That would be
So he
so
takes his
funny.
snacks.
Right? I
you
like
know,
my snacks.
We have to go in the woods with a,
Backpack.
two backpacks.
David, look up mirrored blind.
Mirrored blind?
Hunting blind. While
Oh,
you
those are cool.
okay, while you're talking, because I want you to see.
So
I know.
you know, it's I've tried to get Avery on a deer for years, you know, and I kept telling Jamie, look, we're gonna have to find a suicidal deer.
Or chain one to the fence.
you know, we're gonna have to tranquilize one
Right.
or something because you know he just after
Yeah.
about 30 minutes he goes from whispering like this
Right.
to talking like this. The next thing you know is like, hey, you know,
What time are they coming? When are they
Yeah.
coming? Is that
hey,
is
what
that
was
the
that
deer?
noise? Hey,
What was that noise?
What's that
But
noise?
I need a snack.
Yeah.
What time is it?
oh,
I love him. This is my kind of hunt.
Can you
right there.
imagine you two hunting? I mean,
I mean, it's like, the bird chirps. What's that?
No, I don't
I'm like,
hunt
have
because
you
I know.
not ever heard of a bird chirping?
but it
Like,
would just be a fun experience for Greg to take you both.
I told him to take us both, and we could literally
And
do
he
a live
won't.
podcast from there. Me and Avery chit chatting.
So hearing the deer. So we did. So he did.
He got a new scope because he
So I've-
has issues seeing through.
Right.
So yes, I've been on the search of what can he shoot well. So through a lot of trials, we finally figured it out. So we get there and he got it done. So
100
Was it a good shot?
160 yards.
159 yards, I think, is what the
It
exact
hit the
yardage
good.
was.
I mean, got him a good shot.
So he hit him. We trailed him for it was a couple hours.
Yeah.
And two of my best friends in the whole world were up there, which makes it
Even more special.
it's hard
they
to find.
were more excited.
They were more
than-
excited.
yeah,
I mean, shouldn't say more. They were just as excited as I
him,
was.
Yeah, and
I mean,
yeah.
It seemed like it was 30 minutes, and we'd been in the woods 3 hours because, like,
Y'all were gonna
finding
find that
this
deer.
frickin' deer. And we lost him, and we got through the creek, came out. We went left. We'd been tracking him through my buddy's tracker. So we kind of had a pattern, and we followed the pattern, and the deer zigged and we zagged. And 2 weeks later, one of my buddies that was up there found him about 80 yards from where we zigged and he zagged. He was 80 yards from where we were at. So
Wow.
sucked that we didn't have the excitement of finding him. And
But he
taking
got the
pic-
antlers.
But
and
he got
everything.
the
He got the skull. The
we're
antler,
doing
the
the
European mount for him, and he's super stoked.
Yeah.
He just says, when I shoot my next one, whichever direction they go, I'm going the opposite.
Once you shoot them, I'm all game for going to help hunt. Me and Avery can go off find the deer. I got it.
Just the opposite direction Greg goes.
So I told her I need a drone. The recovery. Have you seen this? It's a real thing. It's a business adventure. It's a drone that goes out and finds these deer that you can't find.
But what is the point? What is the? I thought
What do you
that
mean
was
the point?
But I mean,
part of it.
yeah. So hunting is.
But when you can't find it, like Avery's, I have a buddy that just come back from a trip that actually called one of these services, $350 whether we find it or not. Had there have been a drone recovery guy in South Carolina, I'd have paid him $450,000 to come find that deer for that boy that day.
'Cause that
And you
deer
wouldn't have
meant
said
so
a damn
much.
No,
word.
I wouldn't have said nothing.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have paid $350
so he
twice
just
over.
he just flies a drone looking for.
And it's got a
animal.
thermal
You
imaging
have a
camera on it,
drone.
but it's got the thermal camera.
So you could see where he's laying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brad, I got your mirrored blind up there.
Those are cool. Now I've
Flip
seen
to,
those.
they don't have any with videos. Yeah, I've seen it with the video where he unfolds it,
I'll pull it up.
and they I mean he's literally you can't see. Have you seen these?
Oh yeah, they look invisible because of the
Yeah.
reflection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's no big
those are
deal. Just
really
pull
That's
it the
high tech
picture.
redneck, buddy. We're
Yeah.
we're contractors. We're not that
okay,
high
so
tech.
that's my point. Is I have people that that hunt. I have friends that hunt, friends that are big hunters. They feed the ground year round, and then they sit in a blind and wait for the deer to come eat. Where they have the thing that spins and is that hunting?
Yes.
I don't know.
How is it
man.
not?
I don't know. I'm not a hunter, so I don't know. I mean, I fish.
You
But
don't think the Indians did it that way?
I don't know. Because they were on buffalo, so they chased buffalo. They
The
were
Seminole Indians in Buffalo in Florida.
okay. Well, yeah. I mean, we're talking about the majority Indians. Seminoles. Gee, sorry. Now I'm a Gator, so I had all this.
No,
No,
so
and
I
we
guess you're
had a
right, they
feeling
did.
They knew the time. I mean,
they do. I mean, but
did.
still, it's still about being quiet. and-
What's not hunting is when you have them
The
in
high
a
fence.
fence. That I
we used to
don't
go
like
out
that
to
at all.
Texas.
They have a high. Explain that, because I'm not a hunter.
Yeah. So, full disclosure, never done it.
Right.
Wouldn't because it's to me
It's
that's not hunting.
Right.
fair. It's
So you'll
Welcome back to
literally.
Lake Ranch. Today we're here with a ghost blind that we're going to set up.
Dave,
and
we can hear that.
demonstrate and give you our
Just
first
pause it.
impressions of
So
don't worry about it, buddy.
so you'll literally go sit in a stand with a guide, and he'll have a catalog. That one's 10 grand. That one's 15,000. Yeah, that's
That's what they do with the lines and everything too, right?
well,
They'll
same
put them
thing.
in.
But these
okay.
are whitetail deer in a
They're in a
100
fence
acre
they can't get
high
out
fence
of. So I mean,
spot.
that's
Like
not
there's no hunting.
No.
It's
That's
just
like
killing.
shooting fish in
Yeah.
a barrel.
Yeah.
So basically, you're trapping them.
Well,
It's-
yeah, I mean, you're
mm,
paying. I mean, and these people aren't hunters. These people are executives that, have never hunted a day in their life, and it's going out and coming back to their wife. Look what I did.
Like the big ones.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
man.
I've
You're not
never-
a hunter. or
I've never
gatherer.
killed a deer. I've never.
But I mean,
hunted for
that's
'em.
fine. But
Yeah.
don't go pretend.
Yeah. No.
Right. So we used to go out to Texas every year, and
Are
we
they that
hunted.
much bigger out there?
Their horns are.
Okay.
It was always a great guys trip that
Yeah.
we were out in the freaking middle of Del Rio
Nowhere.
County.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nobody, nothing but us and the
Peace.
deer. It's just getting in the stand 30 minutes before dark and listening to the world
Yeah.
come alive. To me, there's nothing.
Don't let them fool you. They had their personal chefs and everything. It wasn't like
We
they
did
were
have a
I mean,
chef,
come on, don't
but
don't let them.
It was true hunting.
You need to get him to take you to Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Sturgeon Bay, Michigan.
No, it's
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Because you can go out fishing out there.
You
and-
won't go fishing with me, Brett.
You'll catch these. You go out at like 5 o'clock in the morning. You have caught your limit by 12 o'clock of salmon, and they're filleting them by the time you get home.
I sold the boat because of her.
He
Oh.
won't go fish. He won't take
This is a
me.
great
I
story.
have to go alone.
You don't
So I
like
used
to
to have a
fish?
boat. I love to fish. Love to fish.
Then-
Just not with her.
Why? Because she beat you?
Every freaking
Okay.
time.
I grew up on 6 lakes.
Okay.
I can outfish
Now,
him.
are we talking like live bait?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, because I don't like the little bobber live bait. I don't count that as fishing.
It doesn't matter. She'll cut
I'm
her
talking
own
about my
bait.
little worms.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I like my little-
Crankbait, top water,
crankbait,
doesn't
poppers, zippers, zangers.
offshore, inshore. Doesn't
Really?
matter.
Freshwater, saltwater?
Doesn't matter.
Huh.
Doesn't
She's-
matter.
Sold the
I told her,
boat.
and I gave her fair warning. I said, first of all, my grandfather always taught me you'd never outfish the captain.
That is very true.
Never.
Long swim back.
I told her.
I can't help. I
If
grew
you
up
outfish
doing
me
that.
one more
I'm
time, I'm
sorry.
gonna sell the boat. I'm not gonna be married to a woman that outfishes me, and I'm not gonna get a divorce. So it's
You had one
the boat's
option.
got to go.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to
So I
me.
sold the boat.
How do you
Yep.
compete with somebody who grew up with 6 lakes and grew up bass and brim fishing every
I-
day?
Well,
I don't have to
obviously
anymore. I
you
don't have a
don't.
boat. I don't have to compete anymore. I don't have a boat anymore.
And I don't get to fish with you at all.
Well,
Well,
Maybe Brad will take me.
I'd go, but
the first couple.
Brett
of times-
doesn't like fishing out of a boat. though.
But see,
I can stand on the.
I mean, I'm gonna
thing.
be on a side of a retention pond.
No, we'll have to take him and let him. Fish.
Oh,
Okay.
we'd love to go. I mean, it's fun. I mean, we joke,
Yeah.
but she's a hell of a fisherman. I don't
How
know
big
what
are
I
the
like.
bass that you pull out of those 6 lakes?
God, 14 pounds.
Oh my
15
gosh,
pounds.
I've never in my life caught a 14-pounder.
Me either.
I don't even. know what
Because
they
all they
look
do is
like.
sit there and eat.
Well,
Okay.
when my grandmother was alive, she had the front lake
Stocked.
behind the house. She had trained them. Like she would go down to the lake, bottom of the lake, and stomp her feet,
And
and
they
they'd
come.
all come up.
That's funny.
We could fish with bread. We just put bread on the hook because she had them all trained, and we just fished with bread.
That's
I mean,
funny.
You ever caught a bass on a bread ball?
No,
Yeah, he didn't either till he
no.
met me.
I have caught sea bass in Brazil. They are peacock bass. Sorry, in Brazil, they are aggressive bass. Up in the Amazon.
They're cool looking too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've always wanted to catch a marlin, but my hands are so bad now. I don't think that would work. But
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to go through the fight. I mean, you're
That's
talking
the
about
thing, it's
5
hours.
hours. It can
I
be 3 to
can't do
5
that.
hours.
Mm-mm.
Like, come on, the salmon. They're so finicky with their lip. It can come out really easy. And man, I lost a couple, and the captain's in there busting my chops. It was somebody like Greg, and I knew the guy one time a year. We'd go up there.
He
That's why
claims
tuna-
He went fishing up there, and
We went out of we fished the Columbia River for actual
Yeah.
sturgeon.
Oh, really?
but he came back with a none, so I'm not sure I believe that one. So.
We did.
All right, so we're gonna have some fishing competitions.
Yep.
I
So,
agree.
so let's see. We got Avery, we got you, we got Southern Grace Manor. We don't really have the. We got the AC company. Are we trying to grow that, or are you just sort of?
You know, I mean, I kept saying, I'm not leaving the kids a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Not gonna do it. We're gonna give it away, or we're gonna spend it. And so, my thought when we started was, I wanted it to be ours,
Yeah.
and that was the legacy I wanted to leave behind for the kids. Whether or not they sold it,
Right.
they continued to operate it, whatever. I think that's changed a little. You know,
Yeah.
our oldest works for Nash and is doing well. You know,
But then we
Dakota,
have Avery to
Avery, you know, is not going to ever have the ability.
Right.
And
He'll need assistance throughout.
and Dakota's, you know, he's in the Navy and
Yeah.
doing his thing and excelling
Yeah.
and loves that. So, you know, I enjoy it and I still do it.
Yeah.
I've got a good partner. You know, David is good as gold and I don't know. We'll see one day. I'm getting my general contractor's
he's
license.
dying to.
I've
build a
still, you know,
house.
it's just you never stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
And
when
it's
you
not
become
our house,
complacent.
I think it will be not as. I mean, because we built our house and it was in 6 months, and that was very
yeah,
stressful.
for
It's always
me,
having a new goal.
It's don't get complacent,
Yeah.
right? It's all in one of our core values at Nash is growth, and you know, I think trust is the biggest, but growth is such, and it's not professional growth. It's personal.
The
To
only
me-
time you're cruising is when you're going downhill. You
Yep.
got to be
That's
pedaling
true.
uphill.
True.
The only
Yes.
time if I ever feel myself cruising, I'm in trouble.
I heard, you know, brings up. I heard one. Albert Einstein said it, but said that your imagination is just a preview of the coming attraction.
Boom. I like that. And I love Albert Einstein. Excellence is not a singular act. It's my favorite quote.
And so I'm always dreaming. I'm always, you know, not that, and it doesn't come from, because you have to be really careful about that fine line of greed versus, you know, just the drive. And it doesn't come from greed. I'm blessed way
Yeah.
beyond measure, not
Yeah.
only, you know, with the wife, the kids, the things that we have built together. I mean, let's face it, yes, I built a very good career,
yeah.
but it would have never happened if I didn't have
The support.
the behind the scenes support that wasn't nagging me every day. When you coming home? You've been
Yeah.
gone home for 2 weeks. When you coming home? These damn
Preach.
kids, right. That wasn't her.
I
She
like,
was.
oh my God, you're coming home early.
That's Dawn Marie. I was on the road 200 plus days a
I
year.
never forget. I called her and said, "Hey, I'm coming home early." What?
Yep.
What the? Why?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Hey, we get in our
Okay.
set routine.
do get-
You're
Thanks.
interrupting my routine.
Do you know, to this day, Dawn and I don't sleep in the same bed because I was so used to hotel rooms, and I like my room really cold, and I had control, and it was quiet when I wanted it quiet, and no one moved because there was nobody in the bed ever. And so when I got home and when I wasn't traveling as much, and I'd get in the bed, it was a California King. It's a big old bed, and her little old self, one little movement will wake me up, and I got so used to sleeping in hotels. So
yeah. I mean, and it was a lot of travel, but you know, we always had the deal. I'll bring the money home. You figure out how to stretch it. And she did.
yeah.
She could
It-
get
you
she
know-
could get 3 dimes and a nickel out of 1 quarter. It was amazing, and that's what she did, and that was
Yeah.
the value that she created for our family. You know, amongst other things, but she stretched
yeah.
when I wasn't providing. You know, and it was just growing, right?
Yeah.
The career, you got to pay your dues.
You do.
These
man, doesn't
this
it-
generation, a lot of them, and I won't stereotype all of them because it's not
Yeah.
fair, but there's so many of the younger generation wants it now.
Yep.
You know, it's like,
Yes.
I've been doing this for a year. I'm a plumber.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I can't pay you what I've been. That guy's been doing it 15 years. You can do what you've been doing for the last year, but that doesn't make you a plumber.
Which
you
is
know?
which is something I had down because you do hire the next generation often with the greenies and all. Obviously, they're different, but to what degree? So they're not willing to go the 5-year apprenticeship and be.
Well, trade work at all. Nobody. I mean,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
it
it
is
is
it up or
very
down?
It's-
difficult to
It's
find.
down. I wish I could remember the statistic of 55 and older. It's
Yes.
astonishing. It's like 75% of all tradesmen are
Yep.
55 or older or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. But
There's money to be made in trades.
there is. I mean, we're paying
And
we're paying
he tries
good
to tell
money.
people that, but
And-
they don't like the work part.
We have found you go into the Middleburgs, you go into the small towns where, and again, I'm not stereotyping because,
Yeah.
but you're not finding the blue collared guys that want to get up at
Yeah.
5 a.m. and go to work every
Yeah.
day in the big city.
Yeah.
You know, not on a construction site. Now they may get up and go to the office at
Yeah.
5 a.m. and work 12 hours, but we have some really good. It's more. This generation is more about a roadmap. They want to see,
Right.
like, you know, when we were growing up, it was just get your ass out
Yeah.
there. I'll let you know
Exactly.
when you get there. And
Yep.
today it's no. I want to know how I'm going to get to be a lead man. How am I going to get to be a foreman, a superintendent, a project manager? How do I get your job? Those are the things that we have to do as leaders because I don't know, the statistics ridiculous. Like 90% of people don't quit the business; they quit their manager,
Mm.
right? So, in order to be a good manager, a good leader, with this generation, for me, it's giving them the roadmap. Hey, when you check box A, B, and C,
Mhm.
and you can do this efficiently, come talk to me about the next raise, or come talk to me about that lead man position. But you have to do X, Y, Z.
Do you teach the guys underneath you the same verbiage you use? Like sometimes I used to have people that'll say, "Listen, this works, even if you don't understand why. Here's how you address this."
So we have.
Because they're always coming for raises. Do you have an HR department? I imagine.
Oh yeah, we do, and we are what we're an EOS worldwide organization. So it's EOS's entrepreneurial operating system. If you want to know how we do business, look it up. That's our
Right.
playbook.
Right.
And there's a whole vernacular that, as a business, we use that vernacular. Everybody knows what an L10 is at Nash.
Right.
Everybody knows what IDS is at Nash. You know, those are, our level 10 meetings. We have, if you're not going to have a 10 meeting, why
have it?
fucking have it, right? Like, have level 10 meetings. Have, when you go into a meeting, follow the agenda and you identify, you discuss, and you solve the issues. And we do that from the top down. I mean, every Monday, the leadership of Nash, we sit around a table and we identify, discuss, and solve anything from what we're going to do with our T-shirt program to real,
Why is Miss
Yeah.
Mary mad this week?
why is, just
so
just,
do you have more?
issues.
Do you have more than one project that goes at a time?
oh yeah, we're multiple states.
Are you over more than
so
one
I'm the-
project at a time?
I mean, I'm the vice president of operations for the business.
So that you have people below you that each run.
great people,
Yeah.
great people below me. I have a operations manager. Our Georgia division leader is rock solid. One of my
But
best friends in the whole
can't-
wide world. That just. But we understand professional and
Yeah.
personal, and he
But
and
you,
I can.
let me ask you this, because you can't check every screw bolt. I mean, that's where the trust thing comes in.
Mm-hmm.
well, we have.
But your
good
name
people.
gets signed off on it.
I mean, I'm the license holder. For,
I mean, you're the head that rolls if a major thing goes wrong.
it does.
Because right now y'all are doing the University of Florida.
No, I mean we're looking at some work. I mean, we did the O-Dome.
That's what
renovation.
it was. Okay, it's the O-Dome. Okay.
We're certainly, it's no secret, the University of Florida, Ben Hill Griffin is
Yeah.
looking to do some some renovating. We're
You just
looking
did the Daytona track, right?
We did all the big renovations when Daytona. As much as I don't want to talk
You
about
love
it.
that.
Oh yeah, I know.
You can't wait. Maybe a callback.
Never.
Yeah. God.
I love her.
I mean, we've done some really cool stuff. You know,
Yeah.
we're working on a design now down in the southern part of the state. It's on the coast somewhere. That's with a defense contractor that, you know, it's about all we can talk about.
Yeah.
So we do some cool stuff that, you know, that's making a difference in the world. Hospitals that, you know,
A lot of hospitals.
that change people's lives.
Yeah.
You know, when Jamie, you know, she's had some procedures out at Mayo, and we did the first, hospital when they went from just Mayo Clinic to actual hospital out there at San Pablo. We did all the plumbing, medical gas systems, and it's a different kind of nervousness when your wife is in one of the operating rooms that you installed the medical gas system in. It's like, shit, you know, I hope that oxygen
he
stays
will
together.
never be left alone again. if
But
I
your
ever
mind
have
wanders.
to
But-
have a
but it does-
procedure,
it
'cause
does-
he
it-
had a meltdown.
But it's cool, and she gets all the time. You know, it's like, how many times are you going to tell me that you were part of building that building? Or, you know, every time we go by the arena in Jacksonville,
pride
or we
involved.
go down to the federal courthouse in Jacksonville, or we go out to JIA, and I tell her the story for the 100th time about us stuffing Burger King buns in the water line to get them to stop leaking so we could, you know, finish it. And then I had sesame seeds all in the freaking water system at JIA one.
Okay. Nash. I mean, a second generation taking over is not easy. I was involved in one.
And this is third.
So this
Yeah,
third
it's third
generation.
generation.
Third.
What, I mean, from your outside, inside, but somewhat outside of the family, what is a secret to passing it down? And I know they don't
and
just
he
hand it
taught
off.
Ryan.
He did.
I
I
mean-
think the biggest part, and I'll tell you, is because my mentor, Dave, his son, as well as Cliff, the owner at the time, his son, both worked for me at the same time in different times, but they both worked directly for me. And I'll never forget Cliff calling me one day, and he said, because Ryan was going to Auburn, and he said, you know, Ryan's
That
gonna,
was stupid. But anyways.
Ryan's going to finish his.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean Auburn's has a great construction school. I mean, Brassfield is huge.
I just forgot she was a War Eagle.
Visiting at Stab, dude.
And he finished his degree at UNF.
Yeah.
And so Cliff said, "Hey, you know, we'll send Ryan up. We were doing Mayo Clinic." And he said, I'm sending Ryan up there to work for you. And if I find out you treat him any differently than you treat anybody else, I'll fire your ass. Do you understand?" Loud and clear, boss. Loud and clear. And he meant it. He wanted Ryan. And Ryan grew up in the field working alongside of those guys.
They watched.
And it's respect.
Yeah.
Right?
Because he was in Fort Benning with us.
And it's no different than Hunter.
Yeah.
You know, Hunter was given an opportunity, no doubt.
Yeah.
Ryan was given an opportunity. Hell, I was given an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's
But
you
what
do
we
with it.
did,
Yeah.
exactly, we made the best of the opportunity and we earned everything that we ever got. And Ryan earned everything he ever got. Hunter has done this. It's just like being the coach's son, right? You got to stay late and clean clean the equipment. You got to go shag all the balls. You got to go. I mean, you just have to do more.
Yeah.
And Ryan never shied away from that because his dad would have never let him. And I think that's the key is the next generation earning the respect of the guys that
And
are.
there's only one way, and that's
Put
grinding.
your freaking belt
And
on
they-
and go
grinding.
They
out
don't
there.
like
and
that anymore.
How, I mean, that's why the title of this podcast just, I mean, it just came to me, but it just, everything we talk about, it falls, because it is a grind. I mean, life is a grind. The stuff
Dude, you
you've
don't
been
think
through.
we have, you know, everybody.
Personal relationships,
Absolutely.
I've grinded with family, I've grinded with kids, I've grinded with business.
If you don't think that this is not a grind on a marriage,
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
we can sit here and smile and laugh and pretend like we have a perfect marriage. we argue just like everybody else
No,
about.
well, and especially
But
when
it's
you got
stress.
Avery.
It's
Yeah.
stress. It's, I don't want to frickin' do pickles today.
What's your
you know?
greatest stress reliever? How do you get rid of it? Don't say sex.
No.
No, we have a counselor. We actually
We do. We have a
We've
therapist.
been going to
Is
for
that
a
is
long
that?
time.
I mean, do you find yourself that's a release when you?
Not only do we not have a counselor, but I have an executive coach.
I've heard about a couple of these.
And
he talks to him every week.
I talk to him almost every week about, and some weeks is personal,
Yep.
some weeks is professional, some weeks it's just, dude, I got to tell you the story about Avery killing his first deer. But for me, it's that's my release.
When men build relationships with men, it is so odd for a dude. But when you really get there, there ain't none better.
No, it's not. And I think learning how to deal with the stress of it's different. A lot of people, the stress is, how am I going to make the mortgage payment next week?
No.
How am I going to get the lights from being turned off next month?
Yeah.
Those aren't the arguments we're having, and I'm blessed that we don't have those arguments.
Yeah.
But it's just something else.
Yep.
It's
It's always going to be
it's-
something.
and
Expectations.
I need
lead
you to go pick up
resentments.
this piece of equipment for me at this parts house.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't even ask me what my schedule was. Do you
No.
think I'm just at your beck and it's just something different, and
No.
it's none of us are immune to it.
No.
We all have our things.
If I can get my expectations down, then I find that my resentments go away. If I raise now, I don't lower my expectations in business, but in personal, I don't have to expect that it's done, and there's just something about it.
Is that for yourself or for others?
No, my expectations for me are very high, and
See,
I
think
don't.
that's my problem.
Yeah, I well, because
hers are because her expectations most of the time are not anywhere close to reality.
But that's your opinion.
but Elon Musk, sitting as a young man, I mean his expectations of himself were absolutely. You're gonna own an astronaut. You're gonna send people in the moon. You're gonna have a e-car. You're gonna. I mean, Earthlink, and I mean now you're the Department of Government Expenditures, and he's not done. This guy, how does he have the time? And he says it on X a lot. It's the people he hires and the people he gets rid of. You get rid of the bad seeds. You know exactly in construction what a bad seed can do.
Yeah, spreads quickly.
And that's why Dave will tell you. And well, I had 50 plus stores, and I wasn't there, but every 3 or 4 weeks, and you could feel when you'd come in and that manager, and all of a sudden there'd be that one new guy, and he'd be in there. He'd find don't find everything wrong unless don't come to me with a problem without a solution. It doesn't have to be the right solution.
To Cliff that was one of his biggest sayings, is don't come in my office with a problem unless you've got it. May be a dumb solution.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't care. I don't care what the solution is, but
Yep.
don't come in here and just dump your monkey in my office and leave.
Where'd you get the word monkey?
Out of the book.
One man manager meets a monkey.
No, but that's a good one. But I think it was Extreme Ownership.
Okay, One Man Manager Meets a Monkey changed my life. It's a little daggone book, people.
Sitting right there.
Huh? Absolutely is. Well,
It was actually a journal.
Yep.
In the Times, New York
Yep.
Times or something.
Yep. One Man Manager Meets a Monkey talks about how well, I mean the whole they have the One Man Manager whole series, but the One Man Manager Meets a Monkey, I'd grown in running stores and I was stretched. And I mean, I'm like, how can I get to this high? And it was everything just my two hands can do. And then I started learning that. I started seeing all the problems they were putting on me. And Dave and I did
Even now, he always tells me, he's like, don't bring me more monkeys.
Yeah, Dave and I did it today. He said something, and I said, well, it's where would it be, Dave, or something like,
Yep.
I won't quite give the answer. It's not because I'm a jerk. It's because if I just keep giving you the answer, somebody's going to keep coming and ask me the answer.
I'm not the easy button.
Yeah, when Dave got on this computer initially, I waited an extra month and a half to start this podcast, probably 3 months for him to learn. And I kept leaning on him for him to learn. He was scared to death to learn. And that's the beauty is when we hit that wall of, but when you bust through, now all of a sudden he's whipping out stuff and throwing stuff on the computer, and off we grow.
I'm not going to do your job for you,
No,
but I'm here
I'll be
to
right there
support
beside you.
and I will help you through. I'm not going to let you drown.
Yeah,
There's times where I think a lot of our younger managers kind of feel that way, but they also trust that we're there to grab them right before they take their last breath and go to the bottom.
because that's how
right?
you learn.
That's how you learn.
You have to get the
Even
only way you grow.
A bad decision is better than no decision.
Yep.
In my opinion, a bad decision is better than no decision because the ball is moving. It may be moving in the wrong damn direction,
Yep.
but we can fix that.
I agree with that.
I can't fix a no solution, a no,
Yep.
you know, a no decision.
Yep.
Because how do you fix it? You didn't do anything, whether it was good or bad. We can fix a bad one, and we can certainly deal with a good decision. Make a decision.
Make a decision.
And trust that I'm not going to fire you over.
Yep.
You know,
That's the big
now,
thing.
I may jump in your shit,
Yeah.
and I want to understand. Walk me through what made you make that decision,
Yep.
so we can correct what that was. Right? It's not as much about the decision as it is about the
Process.
thought process that you went through. Because you may have had a perfectly good if you can walk me through the steps in the process that you got to that decision. Okay.
But you do things a lot more complicated sometimes than they have to be, too.
I do. I overthink things sometimes, and then other times I don't even think about them. It's just.
But your life is nothing but details. Miss a coupling here and there, and let the inspector come in, and all of a sudden you slow down the whole. And I'm making it very minor, but you miss the key points. You know, I did commercial electrical.
Hey, listen, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
New Orleans, we did the VA hospital out in New Orleans. This is 6-7 years ago. One fitting didn't get pressed in the middle of the night, third floor.
Case.
It blew apart. Guess what was below it on the floor below? Only $1 million MRI machine. So for a long time, our logo was, it only takes one.
Yep.
And it's true. You know, right? You think that's such a small thing, but it's not. It was an 1.25 inch coupling that didn't get completed, and it blew apart after. This thing was together for months. Got inspected, got tested. Middle of the night, blows apart. It runs down the floor to the next floor, and just happened. Murphy's Law, right?
Gosh.
The
Of
next
course
floor
it
down.
is.
So, man, thank God for insurance, but still, you can't do that and keep your reputation either. You know?
Yeah, because it doesn't take many of those, especially in your world.
No.
You know, it's not an old saying. I don't know where I got it from. I don't know if I came up with it. I don't think I did. Dream big, work the details. And I love that saying because, I do dream big, but without the little details of canning, finding the right cans, finding the right this, finding the right, Nash, all the different partners you have, it doesn't work. You can dream all you want and talk all. I mean, everybody talks about what they're going to do, but what are you doing today to make one more? I don't care if it's a baby step or, like you said, if it's 3 steps back, I'm fighting to move forward. I might have slid back, and then what are you going to do? You start over. You get up, and
it's not being complacent though, and just standing still. Right?
No. But did you ever hit a moment? Because you got with Nash pretty early. Did you ever hit a moment like where financially y'all were doing J&G and it got tight on it? Is it worth it, or were you able to float?
No, there was plenty of times. How many times were we like,
do we keep going? Do we keep doing this?
That or the credit card's maxed out. How are we going to go buy this, $3,000 or $4,000 piece of equipment? It's like we don't even have enough money to go buy the equipment the day before I go install it.
So where did you start to problem solve that?
I think it was just maturity. Honestly, that and getting kids off the payroll. No, it was
it was readjusting your overhead. Basically,
it was also growing and Cliff, when he sold the business to, our corporate conglomerate, he did certainly what he didn't have to do, and he took care of all the guys that were there to help build the business. He took care of us, and that set us
Yeah.
up, you know,
Yeah.
financially to be, and we were smart.
Yeah.
We've done some things with it and invested it, and you know, I think it's just the good Lord looking out for the one.
Yeah.
I say that because you know, my best friend says, you know, it's like his wife. She always runs to the runt. She always
Yeah.
runs to the little runt of the litter, and
Yeah.
that's how he ended up with her, because she's this poor little bastard's never gonna make it.
But you
Oh
know
my
what? I
gosh.
mean, I know you keep saying that he goes for one, and he does, but to grow the way y'all have grown in every business that you have, it takes a focused repetition of doing excellent things. It's not a one process. I mean, you have adjusted, you know, in Southern Grace Manor, you've adjusted in Nash and learning what worked, what didn't work. You're still learning here. I mean, not just here, but in Southern Grace Manor, what to sell, what's selling better, what to get rid of, you know, pickles, what are you going to do with that, you know, and all that kind of some fun
Yeah, I
stuff.
hope we can find a co-packer for that.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Yeah, I do.
I like your patience. I not only your patience, but your demeanor, because you carry a lot of weight. I mean, you got $60-70 million projects on the line, and you don't have gray hair yet. Well,
Oh,
there's in the
yes.
chin. I see it.
a little. Most of it is because of her.
But how
I mean,
how do you
but
release? Is it the hour-and-a-half drive?
a lot of it is. I mean, and there's certainly nights
Packing
that
pickles.
packing pickles. That's
No, but
that's
you know
key.
what? Hang on a second. But you know what?
But that is
getting in the-
truly a
yeah.
release for me, because I get satisfaction out of seeing her be successful.
But not just that. It's a simple project. It's a simple process for somebody who does something complex all day,
Right.
and it's nobody calling him. He's living in the now.
Yeah.
And I use the word living in the now often, because I mean with this building and
There's
business.
no thought process about it.
Oh, I
It's
can
just,
stress
you
all
know,
day about tomorrow and losing dealers and people this, that, and the other. And, you know, you do the very best you can, and the day the world doesn't accept it, then you go out of business and you find something else,
I
or
think
you
for
grow.
me, you know, because we have 300 employee owners, and so the stress really for me though is not what are those guys out there screwing up,
Yeah.
because we have great policies, great procedures, great managers, great people from the ground up.
Yeah,
Like, we have a great culture,
yeah,
and those aren't the things I stress about. I stress about how are we going to keep those 300 families fed.
yeah.
And it, you know, this time of year is always the most stressful for me, because God
Yeah.
forbid a job's winding down
No.
and you got to lay somebody off. I had a
it
guy
is bad.
a couple weeks, we were doing the 9/11 renovations to JIA.
Mm.
We finished it up right after September. It was, you know, we were punching out, and so we were right at 1st of December, and I had to lay 3 guys off, the last 3. And I'll never forget the guy, old Steve was his name. He said, when I laid him off that Friday, he goes, he looked square in the eye, didn't bat an eye, didn't raise his voice, wasn't just as calm as he could be. He was, I guess I'll bring my kids over to your house for Christmas. And it was that serious. And it was like, you never
Yeah.
forget those
No.
moments where
No.
you sometimes forget you're affecting people's
Yeah.
lives and
Yep.
their families' lives and their kids' lives. And that's a lot of weight to
Yeah.
carry. And
People think you make it
That's-
so easily.
yeah, and it
Oh, I
that's
mean,
the things that guys, you know, they just see us executives.
Yeah, they don't
you
see me go
know,
in the
we're-
bathroom and
we're
throwing
kicked
up.
with our feet up,
Yeah.
and they, you know, they don't. And I think we're lucky at Nash that most of our employees do trust and do believe in the leadership
Yeah.
and know that we're doing the right things. Like, I tell them, if you want to see my credit card statement, call me. I'll send it to
Yeah.
you.
But
Our,
I think
our books are open, and it should be that way. I want you to trust that I'm putting on my credit card anything that, you know,
Yeah.
that I would accept from you, and that brings a lot of stress to always make sure we're booking work
Right.
to where nobody, and it comes times where we have to lay guys off, and that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
The leaks, the
Yeah.
trucks out on the road, and the
That
wrecks,
happens.
and you know what? I can't control
Right.
that. there's nothing. Yes, does that weigh on me in a little part? But it's
I mean, it does the same way with the AC. I mean,
Yeah.
we could be out in the middle of planting something and somebody call,
and I'm gone.
and
Yep.
he's like, and I'm like, they have a baby. He's like, but we gotta go. They have a baby.
Aw.
You need to go.
Get your ass in that truck and go.
I said, I'm not. I will do this by myself, but they have a
Aw.
child, and you
It's
need
just-
to go fix it.
It is.
Yeah.
People don't realize that there is a personal side.
Yeah.
And yes, I think if you were to interview 100 of guys that have worked in and around me, they would have told you 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, yeah, that guy's an asshole. He doesn't care.
That's all I heard when I
That guy's
first
a
started
jerk.
dating him was, why are you dating him? He is the biggest asshole I've ever
But I
met.
think as you take on different roles, like that was my role.
Yeah.
That was my mentor put me in that position so he could be the guy that comes in on the white horse, saves the day,
That was mine
makes
too.
the deal.
I was the
And hey,
contract enforcer.
And you know what? Great. And
Yeah.
and I played that role very well.
Yeah.
I can
Yes,
be
you
an
did.
asshole, but I think guys are now starting to see that there is I'm not this romantic, passionate
Right.
person, but I do care.
Right.
I just want you to do your job.
Yep.
And I want to be there to support you to do your job. But I am approachable. I am there to help. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing your job for you.
So
And-
training, do y'all do a lot of leadership training?
We do. That was part of corporate. I was never a huge, like she'll tell you, I cussed,
Make
I
fun,
threw
right.
things.
It was bad.
We're just going to be numbers and we're going to be
Right.
corporate rats, and they don't give a shit about us. And couldn't be further from the truth. Our
Yeah.
CEO is phenomenal, and I'm not saying that he's never
Yeah.
going to see this
No.
probably, but
There's only like 22 subscribers.
but
You're
but
good.
he's very intelligent, very smart, and it's different. It's a
Yeah.
different corporate feel, and he goes and acquires businesses that are doing good, and he's acquiring the people.
Yeah.
It's not the trucks.
Yeah.
It's not the building. It's not the, a lot of people say, oh, it's the resume that they're buying and your business and your clients. And we have like 5 big clients that we work for. We don't have this huge client list, so we're working with 4 or 5 of the largest contractors in the world. He's not buying that. He bought
Yep.
the people and
you
the
have
knowledge.
to take care of your people if
And-
you want.
And that's his passion,
Yep.
is employee owners and, getting them to retirement.
Employee
And-
owners, that's a neat business model.
We have 2 models, right? In business, you're either customer based or you're employee based. Now, there's a lot of other little branches that you can go, but you're either laser focused on your customer or you're laser focused on your employees.
That's true.
For us, we're laser focused on the employees. The employees will take care of the customers. If you take care of those customers, you'll get the financial success, and you take that financial success and you dump it back into the engaged employee.
Yeah.
The engaged employee takes care of your Raven fans, and your Raven fans make you financially successful, and it's just a circle.
Yep.
Because what was his motto there? He wanted everybody to retire.
Yeah, his
mean-
passion is he wants you to spend a career, and the day you retire with the same style of living that you've always lived.
Mhm.
That's his promise to his folks that spend a career. Now you can't do that
No,
in 5, 10
right.
years, but that's what I tell the guys. You got to work for 40 years,
Right.
roughly,
Right.
unless you live off the system. You're,
Right.
you inherit a
Deadbeat.
bunch of money or you win the lotto.
Right.
Outside of those 3 things, 40 years at least,
Yeah.
right? Why not spend 4 years as a career and retire? We used to say a millionaire, but $1 million for retirement in 40 years doesn't go that, now, but it's retire at the same comfort of living that you did the day before you retired.
Sounds like you got a lot of mentors in the business. I mean, at
I've had
all
some
levels.
really-
No, I mean not just you, but I mean like to keep Nash, with such excellence and employees. It can't just be just you. It has to be you. It has to be the people below you,
Oh, there's
down
yeah.
t-
I mean, there's some good
down to the
people.
journeyman that has one helper with him and that's teaching him the culture.
Our mission is empower our employees to make it a great place to work and create value.
And you know what's
That
funny
simple.
is a lot of people can say it and they can make it sound all pretty with these big corporations, get the mission statement, but they then implement it from the top down, and the employees know. It's just like a child. They know when you're BSing.
Mhm.
The employee knows when you're BSing.
Mhm.
And that's obviously why you guys have grown
No,
to the
they
degree
do. I
you
mean,
have.
because they're not the typical, like, even when he goes out of town, all the core guys that go out of town, they're not out there, at the strip club.
Yeah.
And everybody knows.
No, and
that
that's
they're-
big.
I
'cause
mean,
in that
it's
industry,
a-
especially.
It is.
It is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it-
we're not perfect. No,
Yeah.
no. I mean, yes, but we have integrity.
You've lost $1 or $2 at the strip clubs, is what you're saying.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Answer that
I
one
went
very
to
carefully.
one strip club when I was
One.
18 years old.
Okay.
One.
One?
Yeah, the Pink Pony in Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, stupid.
Yeah.
It's like going to all you eat buffet and you can't get a plate.
Well, let me tell you,
who the
as
hell
somebody
does this? And
as
what-
somebody who has gotten into the urban culture music there for a little while, we went to the girly bars. Would be where you would do your these up and comings. They had nowhere else to go, and so you go in there. I'm speaking to most of the ladies of the night that dance. Go work out. I mean, I'd never seen so much beef. And I don't know if that offends people, but it's just the truth. If you're going to get up on the stage in that kind of a world, and I'm in there, and I didn't know who was what, who was like the patrons and who were the dancers, because they were
Oh
all
my
dressed the same.
God.
It was crazy. I got video where I'm sitting in a corner. I'm literally in a corner over there. Only white boy around, right? And we're trying to get this DJ. We would go into these places, and some of these local DJs are really well known, and they have a good following. And so we would go, and I'd make sure I'd see him a little bit, talk with him, try to recruit him to come with us to go with some of our artists. And so we're sitting there, and I would videotape for Don Marie. And I'm like, I'd sit there, and all of a sudden I'd be by myself with my security guard. I'd be sitting right there, and next thing you know, there'd be like 3 booties start backing up in, and I'm talking about taking up the whole picture. I mean, the whole picture. And I'm like, okay, I tell them, well, it's time to go, kid. We got to get out of here. Leave a card. Let's go.
my
I don't
God.
get it. To be honest with you, I
Never
really
got
don't
it.
get it.
Never did.
I don't get it. You're going to spend all these. I know one guy. He may watch this one day. I don't care. It's authentically raw. I'm not like going to put his name out there. But I know one guy who literally thought these girls were in love with him, and would just sit here and dump money and I would look at him. Bart knows him too. And I'd look at him. I go, "You're an idiot. Hey, let's go up." No, I want to go shoot basketball. Why do I want to go sit somewhere? Now in construction,
Oh, it was.
We
you
used to go
heard
on a
it all the
Friday
time.
night-
Let's
Friday
go to
afternoon.
Wackos.
Yeah.
Wackos. You know,
Studs Pub. Now I would go up, and I would go up on a Friday afternoon. Back, but see, it's different. Back in the day, you would sit down with 5 guys, you would talk,
Yeah.
and there would be a couple girls walking around. You didn't really pay attention. And now you walked in, like when I go in, there's not one. It's creepy. They don't move. They're all sitting like this, and they just, I'll never forget. It was the one off University. I was going to this DJ guy, and I walked in, and it was packed, and there wasn't a seat, and they're all, no one even looked to see who came in. It was weird, man.
That's odd.
Well, because of the sick that this world's become. I mean, pornography and all that. It's just the way that we treat women, the way that we've, what's the word? Painted how we want to treat women. We sit there and talk about all these communities. Go listen to the music and how they talk about the women, and then we wonder why we
Yeah,
treat
but listen,
women.
but listen
It's
to how the
pretty
women
basic.
talk about themselves in some of that music.
That's true.
It
It's true. No, it's true. I mean, we gotta, and it's it's not just. I mean, country's gotten there. It used to be just you could go urban. It's be this and ho that and all, and they've gotten even worse. I mean, the graphic nature of this music today is just,
It's bad.
yeah.
I don't know though. If you
And
go
then I
back
listened
and
to
listen-
the '80s.
But
No,
you go
I
back and
was
listen
listening
to
the
some
80s today.
Conway Twitty. That was a dirty man.
Yeah, it was a dirty man. That was a dirty man.
And my grandmother loved her some Conway Twitty. And I never
Yeah.
got it back as a kid, but you go back and listen to some of the
Well,
Grandma,
like
you're
what-
dirty.
the
You-
80s.
You listen to that
Prince. I mean,
love me
all the
some
80s
Prince.
music we had, it was, I mean, that, and I'm sitting there going, oh, listen to this. And we were listening to the 80s in the truck today with Don Marie. And I'm like, I was listening to the words. I was like, oh, okay. Well, we did say
That's
that
what
one
that-
night, that one, I want that one more night.
Yes, we come
Guys.
across those all the time.
Mhm.
Let me tell you,
Look, we've spent a ton of time in a vehicle, back and forth every weekend from Fort Benning.
Yeah.
4 hours each way.
yeah.
She's heard my songwriting abilities.
Oh God, they're
Hates
awful.
it. Hates
I
it.
literally will get out of the truck.
Okay, so Sparkles Feathers, and then we'll end
Oh,
along this
God.
way. Sparkle Feathers was our last guest, and she was an author, and so she has.
Okay, I didn't know that was her name. I watched that.
Well, her name's Francine Julene, but Sparkle Feathers came to her in a meditation and transcript and all, and so I have a lot of questions. I asked her.
Oh, I got.
Yes, I asked her if everybody thought she was crazy. She said yes. I asked her if she was on mushrooms. She said no, and I was halfway joking. And she's a sweet lady, but she is, from what I understand, Francine Julene may not be here. It may actually be Sparkle Feathers that I'm gonna be sitting down with and talking to, because that's I don't
Princess Francie.
huh?
Princess
Francie
Francie.
will probably be here, and she has her own podcast.
Yep.
And so I saw her dress up a little bit and saw Sparkle Feathers come. I don't know yet. That's the beauty of this. I got a lot of questions. So I want to meet Sparkle Feathers.
So I had a guy one time tell me,
What?
last little joke, but he told me, he said, I got this thing figured out. I said, oh yeah, what's that? He said, I figured out I won't have to worry about anything. They'll take care of me the rest of my life. I'm like, what are you talking about? The guy's crazy, nut guy, typical construction guy. He goes, say I figured out. He said, I'm just going to walk up to a stranger's house, strip butt naked. He said, I'm going to put a peacock feather in my ass, and I'm going to run up there and ring the doorbell. And when they come out, I'm going to just go, take off running. He said, hell, they'll lock me up, but they'll feed me every day. I won't have to worry. No, he says,
And
I'm going to put
this
that
is what I
peacock
live
feather in my
with.
ass.
Three
take off
hots
running,
and a
and go. He says, and I'm going to go, beep, beep. Take off running.
Oh my gosh.
And all three y'all find that hysterical.
and yes.
I thought that was hilarious.
David was laughing. I thought it was very
I've
funny.
actually contemplated doing that. Like, that would be really funny.
Nobody wants
Yeah.
to see that, I promise.
It'd be hilarious.
What is your greatest fear in the next 10 years? It can be personal, be business.
I don't know. I mean, I think, and I've got a really, not going to name names, but we've got a really, really rich client that we work for. I mean, worth billions.
Right.
Done a lot of work for them over the years. Last year, he died. Man's worth billions, literally with a B. And you know the one thing you couldn't do? Couldn't buy his health.
Nope.
I fear health, just because there are things you can do, but at the end of the day, you can't buy your health.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how hard you've grounded. Doesn't
Yep.
matter
Your
how
health?
much. Doesn't matter how much
My
money.
health? Whose health?
Just my
Everybody's
Health in
family's
gen- yeah.
health.
Yeah.
Your health, my health. I mean, I see your hands and your back.
Yep.
And, it just, that's the one thing you
Yep.
can't, you don't have a ton of control over it.
Yeah,
At the
I
end
mean
of the day.
we're in our 50s, and I see Miss Dawn Marie get up and she'll be a little slow. I don't like that, but it is a real
It's,
part.
it's more her health. I mean, it
Yeah.
is more her.
Well, we spent our whole lives,
She's much older than I am. I know you can't tell that, but that's
26
the
is
truth.
older.
Hey, I'm 22, baby.
Much older.
She is. She married a much younger man,
Oh, that's.
and it's bad to
Okay.
say. I still can't keep up with her.
My greatest fear is not meeting the expectations I've set, and the expectations I set came from a warped place, and I haven't gotten there yet. So
Okay, then me and him are a lot alike. Because he always tells me mine are unrealistic.
yeah. Well, I
But not
don't
from
have
a
fear
bad
of failure.
place. I'm not trying to kill her dream.
No,
That's not. But
no, I don't. No,
but she wants to get. She want to get the whole entire farm redone in 2 days. I'm like,
Why not?
that's a 3-week job.
No.
You can't do it in 2 days. And then she's out there working 18 hours a day trying to get it done. And I'm like,
we moved warehouses. It was an 80,000 antiquated warehouse from the this furniture distribution company I worked for and retailer. And I was sitting there with the boss, and we were moving into a much bigger warehouse. So we had to set up racks, and we had forklifts. And before, it was just 27 guys hand rolling, redneck style. And we had to move. I said, we had a week. I said, I can get this done in 3.5 days. Impossible. Can't be done. Okay. Well, here's what I need. You give me this, this, and this, and just let me be. And 2.5 days in, we were done. Set up, done. I think we're so quick to limit ourselves. Dawn Marie in this shower, these cold showers and the cold back plunges, and we just get in our mind that I can't.
Well,
I
your big
can't.
thing, you always tell me, don't ever say I can't.
Don't ever speak it out loud, even if you believe it, because I just I don't know exactly how to explain the manifestation because I'm not.
Yeah, you don't speak it. If it's,
I don't. I try not to. Now I've spoke enough negative in my life, and much of it has come true. But I don't have fears over children and finances, and I've been on the edge. I mean, I lost it all at 44 due to no fault of my own, and the roofing got in, and it's just one foot in front of the other. We know how to recreate, but I also know that the greatest gift was contentment, because I can go live in a single wide and be happy, and I'll guarantee you there's a lot of people that can't. And that I don't go, yeah, I can show you, but I can go drive a beat up truck. I got my white van. I love driving that thing. Don drives all the fancy cars. I just don't care. It doesn't, for me, it's the smile. It's the starting off in a small space, and all of a sudden we have a huge space. Now and then we go to some places you open and it doesn't work. Who cares? You just keep moving, and you keep pedaling. And baseball is one of the greatest for me. I saw so many great athletes that no one will ever know. There's one sitting right there. I mean, he got in the Hall of Fame in his high school and blew his shoulder out and never got into really in college. And so it's not always, I learned it's not always the great, thank God, it's not always the most talented that make it. It's those that have the staying power and that are willing to learn from their mistakes. Yeah. But if you have staying power, you got a fighter's chance. But man, in this industry and in others, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people quit so fast.
Yeah, and
when it gets hard.
He was a F-22 fighter pilot. That's what the guy did for a living. Like, he was a squadron commander.
Yeah.
On his way to the Pentagon, and his thing is, some days you get violently lucky, some days you get violently unlucky.
Yep.
But we talk about the wins, the losses. We're going to celebrate the wins. We're going to celebrate the losses, because even the losses is where we learn.
And more so sometimes, maximizing your strengths, minimizing your weaknesses.
Yep. So we celebrate both wins and losses.
Yep.
And, we're going to talk about them. We're going to debrief them. And there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
Of, just because it's not a failure until you quit.
Yep.
Right? As long as you keep going.
Yep.
But even if you're moving backwards, you're moving.
You are.
May not be the way you want to go. And trust me, we've done it. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna come up with products and things that, who knows? The loofahs may not grow next year. Who knows?
Fear of failure is just not something that runs in my veins. Because it excites me. It's just one more challenge to overcome, I
love the game.
The game of it.
Right, the game of
the journey
business.
is the joy is the journey.
There's a book, and I haven't read it, but it's The Infinite Game of Business. And the premise is really, you never reach the end. Because once you reach the end, where do you go? There's no more growth. There's no more challenge. So it's an infinite game.
And when you quit moving, you watch as we get older, when you quit moving, that's when you really start dying.
Yeah.
And so
I don't have to worry about that with her.
No, I don't think
She's
so.
going to
No.
keep me
I don't think
moving.
so.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think so. Jamie, Greg, what an absolute pleasure. Thank y'all so much for being on All About the Grind. I've kicked this like 90 times and you haven't punched me one time. Y'all will be regulars. There's so much more in depth
there's
with
a
you and the fun that we have around. I've enjoyed getting to see y'all from afar and then getting to know y'all personally, and just a fabulous family. Avery, I love you, brother. You are like my mascot for V1. I don't know how to put it, but I mean, we talk about him all the time in here, and customers get to hear his story because that's a grinder. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, stuff.
Different grind.
I
right?
mean, come on, I'm constipated, or I'm this, I got a little splinter. I mean, this man's fighting for his life, and then comes in and lives to the best of his ability and happy. And I see y'all and all. It just, I don't know.
He's happy. He is for the most part.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Well, you know what? The joy's in the journey, and I think you guys show it well. You don't hide your faults. You don't hide your mistakes. You're willing to make them, whether it be personal or otherwise, and then you're also willing to move on. You don't dodge, and nor do you. You don't dodge tough situations, and I've seen it even in our relationships as well. So thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate all your input. It's been great here. This is episode 5.
Yep.
Next week's going to be a good one. We'll see.
Who's next week?
Huh?
Who's next week?
Oh, she's just a local. Miss
Okay.
Mary Ann. And
All
then
right.
and then I have a couple lady businesses coming in as well. But we'll talk about that some other time. For right now, we are out of All About the Grind. We'll see y'all next episode. See you soon.
Yeah.
Peace.
I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work.
Great, guys.
Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough.
That was good.
Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta
That
look
was good.